3, 2, 1. All the way from down under. How are you, brother? What's going on?
I'm good.
Good to see you again, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You're on a wild, magical mystery tour of the United States of America here.
It's been amazing.
With your kids, your cute little kids.
Yeah, they're
Daughter's
cute. They're
damn
cute
adorable.
if they're not your own.
Mine are adorable. I love kids, but you're taking them too. You took everybody. Like you're here for how many months?
5 months.
You moving? Tired of Australia?
No, hell
Come
no.
on, bro,
Just a big trip.
No, it's better over here.
It is. I love America. It's
Is it
awesome.
better? Can't say that. They won't let you back in.
Yeah, probably not. They're very different,
Yes.
but the American landscape, how unique the landscape is, from the Rocky Mountains, to the desert, it's just insane.
Does Australia have any mountains?
Yeah, heaps, yeah. Everyone
really?
thinks Australia's just like this fucking flat piece of sand, don't they?
Yeah,
but it's not.
There's in it.
There's heaps of mountain ranges and shit. So,
Really?
Yeah.
How tall do they get?
I don't know the height, but they're up there.
Like a real mountain? Like Rocky Mountain?
Like a real mountain, like Rocky Mountain, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, let me tell you something. Your 28 days that you did in the Rocky Mountains out here that we put on Instagram, we're promoting it constantly.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most talked about. I got calls from all my friends. Bert Kreischer was fucking obsessed with you. he wouldn't stop calling me about it. He's like, the fucking guy's by himself. The video with him with the grizzly bear and he's pointing the gun at it. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
The fucking weirdest thing is that's normal shit. It is. That's very normal,
yes.
But society's so removed from it now.
Well, if you're out there, it's normal to get false charged by a grizzly bear.
Yeah,
that is
you're living with nature, yeah.
It's one good reason to not fucking be out there.
I was talking with Kim about this. We hiked into the back of Montana to the spot that's usually got a bunch of grizzly bears that I go to. And we're talking about how you won't come out to Australia hunting because you're scared of everything. The difference is when you're walking around the mountains here, it can happen at any point because fucking grizzly bears have got feet. They walk on land. In Australia, you pretty much have to go into the water. So you're only worried about that when you go to collect water or you're thinking about having a wash or something. Here, it's full time.
For whatever reason, it doesn't bother me as much to get killed and eaten by a bear than it does a giant saltwater crocodile.
It should. I reckon the crocodile would be nicer.
What?
Yeah, it'd be nicer. It'd like grab you, drag you down. You'd drown anyway. And then it would do what it wants with you. A grizzly bear is going to fucking maul you, scratch your face off, bite your neck, take chunks out of you. It's going to be longer, dude.
Yeah, but it's American.
It's all right. We don't want no foreign shit eating us.
I ain't fucking no foreigners eating me. There's something about grizzly bears that's the most terrifying thing is that they just eat you. They don't kill you first. They just hold you down and start eating you.
Yeah.
They treat you the same way they treat a salmon. When you see them hold down a salmon and they take big bites out of it, they don't make sure they kill
There's
that
no
salmon.
nice thought behind it.
No.
It's like, I'll finish it off first and then.
No.
Yeah. Did you see the mountain lion that I ended up hunting when I was out here?
I did, yeah.
And like mountain lions usually kill their prey, but it obviously grabbed the calf and it was eating this calf while it was still alive, like a beef cow calf.
Yeah, I saw the video of that.
Yeah, pretty disturbing. Ugh. And then I seen one not long ago, someone shared with me with a mountain lion dragging a mule deer down. And it's like chomping on this mule deer before it actually dies, and it's like there's just not that thought process there. There's not that human,
No, as long as they make sure that they have it as a meal and it's not going anywhere, they'll just start eating.
It's done, yeah.
Yeah, wolves do the same thing. Some friends were elk hunting and they came across this elk who these wolves had torn the back legs apart and it was in the river and the wolves were eating it while it was in the river and the thing was moaning and screaming. It couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was bull elk.
Yeah.
In the water. And they just
pretty horrible for us, but nature don't give a fuck, does
Standard
it?
for them. I mean, it's, have you encountered any wolves when you're out there?
Yeah, plenty of times, yeah. The first time I went to Canada was Northwest Territories, and there was a pack of wolves that they were chasing a caribou bull, and they pretty much chased this thing to like a lather of sweat, this is in winter. So the caribou bull got really hot and they chased it into the freezing cold river and they sort of surrounded it in the river and then they just left it and they walked off, and it wasn't that they were walking away from their kill. They knew the job was done. The wolves went back up high and they got onto these rocky benches and sat in the sun and were like drying out themselves and cooling down and drying out. And this caribou never left the river. It was like just quivering in the river, and then that afternoon when we come back, that caribou was just a carcass with like flesh hanging off the ribs on the side of the river. So they come back down once the river had done its job and ate them.
Wow.
Smart as hell, eh?
That's really crazy that they're that intelligent that they know it's over. They're like, oh, okay, he's in the water.
Yeah.
He's in the water.
We can chill
let's
now.
Go dry off.
Yeah.
That is bananas.
Yeah, crazy, eh?
They're so wise. People that I know that have seen them in the forest say they look at you a different way.
Yeah.
They look at you. There's a way they look through you. They look at you in a way like, almost like, they think that that's the reason why the myth of the werewolf exists. Is that people that have these terrifying encounters with wolves, they swear that it's part human.
Yeah, because like peers and into you.
Yeah, they're looking into you. They're figuring you out, you know? And you got to think what it would be like if you're just out there, you know, if you're lucky, live 5 years old, right? You get this hard scrabble life out there chasing much larger animals than you, and you got to kill them with your face.
Yeah. Make it happen or die. Yeah, crazy. I had a pack of like 30 wolves this last trip that I was in BC, and they kept coming around camp. We had horses and that in camp, and one day I ventured out to try and get onto them and get a better look at them, and they just, without seeing me, they just kept this perfect range. You know, like they'd howl back to me. I was trying to call them in. I was howling. They'd howl back to me, and they'd just keep this perfect range. And you could tell the whole time they were communicating, because there'd be another wolf or a couple of wolves that were like a couple of miles in the other direction, and you could hear them moving the same pattern that the rest of these wolves were. And I got eyes on them from a distance. They walked across a nice lake, and other than that, I never really seen them, but I guarantee you those wolves looked at me a bunch of times. Like, they're just a different hunter, dude.
Yeah, they're probably just trying to figure out what they can do with you.
Yeah, such an eerie feeling too. So it's like snow, and it's like way in the backcountry of British Columbia. And like I'm going up on these mountains, it's like big pine trees and everything like that, and just every direction around you howling, dude. You'd hear them howling, you'd hear them do, it sounds like a bark, it's not, it's like this short howl. And then every now and then you'd hear one howl different, and you could tell that that was the alpha. There's the sound that it was letting out, dude, was like eerie. You know? Awesome place to be. If you're in the nature, like crazy place to be. If you're not into nature, fucking your nightmare. Like, yeah.
Well, the thing about them that's so fascinating about them is they're cooperative, and they almost are. They know what to do without even communicating. They know what to do. They have plans and strategies. They know how to box someone in and circle around. Like if an animal's running in a certain direction, they get out in front of it. They know what to do.
They know what to do. Yeah. So there end up being a set of caribou tracks that I end up getting onto and following, and every wolf track was a certain, you know, section apart from that, and they were funneling it into this big drainage. I had to end up returning back to camp because it was getting dark, but I would have loved to have kept following and seen if they actually, like, they're efficient. Yeah. Good chance they end up catching that caribou, you know, and killing it.
Yeah. Well, it's really interesting seeing them adapt to once in 1994 when they got reintroduced to Yellowstone, seeing them readapt to the whole West and really expand and kind of take it over.
They dominated it. Yeah, it's crazy.
We were talking recently about Wyoming. There was this one surplus kill. These wolves had run across a bunch of cows, elk cows, and they'd kill like 18 of them. Just killed them.
Just slaughtering.
Yeah, they caught them, I think, in high snow, and they couldn't get away, and so these wolves just one after another just killed them all and didn't even eat them.
Good practice.
I think it's good practice, and I also think while it's snowy out, they probably figured, look, we'll come back to this. Yeah, we'll leave it in a pile.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's that whole nothing ever goes to waste, I suppose. If they don't eat it, then a grizzly eats it. If the grizzly don't eat it, birds are eating
Badgers will eat it.
There's something eating it. But
yeah, that's a fact. Yeah, an animal, like, I mean, even if a hunter hits an animal and doesn't recover it, that's not going to waste.
No, that's right. Everything goes back to the earth. I think we've spoken about this before, you know, like the world's the ultimate predator. Like everything's fueling the world, you know, the growth on the earth.
Yeah, it really is. It's just a fascinating cycle when you're out there and you realize that it doesn't care about 4G or cities or cars.
4G, I'm on LTE, bro. 4G is shit. I remember when 4G was good.
3G.
3G
4G LTE.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's the good one.
Yeah.
When you're out there in the woods and you're doing these live streams or these Instagram stories, how are you hooking up when you're out there?
Some of them are saved. So some of them are like, I think the last year when I did the solo hike through the Arnhem Land, like the Northern Territory of Australia, that was like a 13-day delay, I think, where every day I was still documenting it. But it wasn't until that I got back into civilization that I was uploading it each day.
So when you do it on your phone, it just saves it on the phone?
I'm just filming it in the normal camera mode and then uploading it.
Oh.
But a lot of places, especially here in the US, when you're up high, like usually I've got half decent reception. I'll do a little bit of research, what's the best provider in the area, ATE, Verizon, whatever it is, and I'll end up getting a SIM card for that, provider. And then usually if I'm up high, it's not too bad, but it just depends where you are. Like backcountry BC, nothing at all.
Oh, yeah, there's nothing up there.
Northern Territory, Australia, like Arnhem Land, like nothing at all.
Yeah. What about satellite?
You can't upload data really well from satellite.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the issue. And if you could, you'd want to be freaking rich because it would charge you an arm and a leg.
Yeah, I saw these things at REI. You put them on your backpack. It's like an extender.
Okay, yeah.
And it somehow or another extends your cell phone range.
I used to use them back in the olden days.
Are they legit?
The ones in Australia they were 3G, like Telstra 3G. That's our provider back home. They were pretty good, but you'd have like a big antenna hanging off your back, and I'm not that into it.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
It was like the size of this caveman nitro can. It wasn't,
nice.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
It would just clip on, and I don't remember exactly the mechanism behind it.
That'd be handy, yeah. If I'm just trying to communicate with home, I've got like a Garmin InReach sort of thing, and you do text off your phone because it like actually goes into your phone. But as far as data goes, it's too slow to do something like Insta stories.
Right. Well, one day, wasn't it Mark Zuckerberg? Wasn't he trying to like put satellites in space to make internet for the whole world?
Yeah, it feels like we need it.
They stopped doing that. I don't know.
They stopped doing that?
Yeah.
Once Congress started going
well,
up his ass.
I know for sure one of them they had in one of the Tesla rockets that went up that exploded. Remember one?
Oh, really?
One didn't make it or something like that.
Yeah, SpaceX.
And they had stuff in that one, I believe. I don't think that's ruined it, but it probably put a big halt on the.
Yeah,
I'll look at it.
That makes sense.
I always think how you can be so much unorganized now, like with work and stuff, because of where phones and that are. But I remember, like in the construction industry, that morning that you left to work, you had to be highly friggin' organized because there wasn't you had to go back to a payphone if you wanted to call someone. No one wanted to do that, especially from a work site. That now it's just that whole. I just remember when emails come on phone, I was like, holy shit, I can save some time now. Like that was a massive breakthrough for business, being able to do that. And but it's also nice to step away from that every now and then. Like some hunts, I'm really looking forward to going to because there isn't any reception, and you get away from emails, business, work, phone calls, all the shit. It's just you and nature,
Yeah.
It's sort of nice to be like that.
Well, just even life. I think we're all spending too much time on our phones, too much time being connected. And two of my friends, Ari Shafir and Bert Kreischer, hired companies to take over their social media.
Yeah?
They don't look at their social media at all. What they do is they'll post something by sending it to them.
Right.
Like, say if he has a tour coming up, like, hey, I'm going to be in Sacramento, blah, blah, blah. He sends it to them. They take that. They put it up. He doesn't see it at all. He doesn't pay attention to a second of it.
That sort of sounds nice.
Yeah, I'm thinking it does.
Yeah.
I've been better at it over the last, couple months than I ever have before, by just leaving the phone alone and not touching it and just hanging out.
Yeah, I'll do certain posts where I don't even look back on it. It's
Good.
just like, cool, posted it, the content's out there. If people want to look at it, they can look at it. If they don't want to look at it, change the channel, go and look at something different. But then every now and then there's one that I like to look at the engagement with and stuff like that, which is good.
Yeah.
But, there's always there's 10% fuckwits out there that are kind of, it's true, there's like 10%. So I've been looking at it.
I don't even think it's that high.
How many followers you got? Like how many people would tune into an Instagram post of yours each day?
I don't know.
It's just a guess.
I have
a couple of 100,000 at least.
I have 5.5 million Instagram followers.
Okay. So say 1% of them wakes up on the wrong side of the bed.
Yeah.
just 1% wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and wants to be fucking mouthy that morning.
Yeah, that's a lot of people.
And then your post is the first post they see. You're going to get some shit there.
Yeah.
And, we're all ignorant if we think that everyone's just going to get along. Like, that's never going to fucking happen, is it? And it's never happened. But I feel like it's getting worse.
Really?
Yeah, because you can't punch someone in the face anymore. Like, it's true. If someone gets mouthy, especially in Australia, it was only going back so many years ago. If someone gets mouthy, you confront them. And if they want to go at it, let's go at it. I'll get in trouble if I do that now.
Yeah.
You're the one that gets in trouble. Even though they've been a smart ass, now you're the one that gets in trouble. So you can't do that, and people know that. So they get mouthier. There's no repercussions for calling someone a fucking cunt on Instagram.
That's true. Like, I'm not in favor of people running around punching people, but I do like the way it turns out.
I do too. Yeah.
That people realize
do you remember
you can't just be an asshole.
Imagine like when you were in school and say you don't get along with someone and they get mouthy and then you have a fight. You usually ended up friends after it.
A lot of times.
A lot of the times you ended up friends over it, or mass beef.
But, yeah.
But a lot of the times it was just sorted out then and it was done.
Yeah.
And then other people knew not to talk shit.
Yeah, well, it's a weird thing, like when you see UFC fights where guys fucking hate each other and they beat the shit out of each other.
And then afterwards
they're hugging. And
yeah, I know.
It's a weird thing with men.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes you just need to get it out of your system.
Yeah, I think it's primal.
Yeah.
It's like human nature.
It's definitely too easy to be shitty to people. It's too easy. And people don't. It's also so new. The other thing is it's so new. I mean, any kind of internet interaction is only 20 years old. That's it.
Yeah.
Basically, 24 years. I think I was online in 94, and it was like a 56K modem. It was slow as shit. It might not have been 56K. It might have been 14.4. And it was, where you would use it through the phone line and go...
Yeah, it was shit as, but we thought it was great back then. We're like, this is amazing.
We thought it was the most incredible thing. I remember I showed up to News Radio one day, the sitcom that I was on, and I couldn't wait to tell these people about how I got online last night. And I was downloading all these things and printing them. I was printing up, it was all about UFOs. I was really into UFOs back then. And I was reading all these files about UFOs, like government reports about UFOs. I'd somehow or another found some, I don't know what the fuck it was, a message board or something that you could get. And I was so obsessed. I was telling them.
Deal.
It was such a big deal. And it would take so long to download one piece of paper. Like one piece of paper that was filled with text would take like 30 seconds to download.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And now we're here, and I'm like, if I've got 3G, 4 bars, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I know. You're mad.
Yeah. It's like, this is so slow.
Well, what's, telling your kids about the virtual reality setup that we have back there, that disturbs me. That disturbs me. It doesn't disturb me that, it's bad for you or anything like that. It's so fun, and it's so immersive. And I know where it's going. I'm like, it's going to keep getting better and better. Just like it was 30 seconds to download just a simple piece of paper filled with text, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years from now, that is going to look like crayons.
Oh, totally.
I mean, but that is you got to put that thing on. You're going to freak out. There's some archery games too.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Do that,
It's pretty cool. You actually have it's called haptic feedback. So as you draw the bow back, you actually feel like a vibration in your hand, like
really.
Yep. And then you let go like that. Clunk. Tesla suit. Jesus Christ, Tesla.
Wow.
It's not the same company.
What?
They're just calling it that.
Fuck you.
As far as I know.
Fuck you, other company. Tesla suit unveiled at CES 2019 takes virtual reality to new heights. Yeah, they're going to have haptic feedback suits. Is that what it is?
Yeah, there's like 68 sensors in there, and you can supposedly feel like up to like rain, I guess. And
put one right.
Really? So you get shot and you feel where it cracks.
Girls are going to put it right on their pussy, and they're just going to keep shooting themselves. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You're going to come home. Your girl's going to have a haptic feedback suit on and one of them artificial machine guns.
There you go. It's going to wreck reality.
Yeah.
There's a video of a girl doing it, and she
Whoa.
gets a...
Does she get shocked?
No, but there's a couple of different things. This is just a test, but she takes like a hard front kick to the chest here.
What?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how it felt to her, but...
Okay, let's see hard front kick to the chest.
Hard explosion.
Right back here, actually. I did it earlier.
Okay.
I was looking around.
Front kick, here goes nothing. Oh, okay.
So it's not that hard.
It
it's not your
wasn't
kid.
that hard, but I did feel it right here. Hard explosion. Oh, do I really want to try? Yes, I do. Oh, I just did that to myself.
Well, there's a boxing game that you can play. It's really cool. And the boxing game, you see this guy in front of you, like a big 3D cartoon, really cool graphics. And when he punches you, the whole screen goes bright. like you got your bell rung, like,
oh,
bam,
damn.
and it makes you nervous.
Yeah.
Like when I'm sparring with him and he punches me, I'm like, oh Jesus, gotta get my hands up. I gotta move. It feels
That's
real,
cool.
and you get exhausted because you're moving around. You're punching. It's harder, believe it or not, to punch air than it is to punch something.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, because you get tired.
Yeah.
You get tired easier.
Yeah.
So you're throwing your hands at this thing, and and then it goes down. You're like, and it gets back up. Your feet hurt from moving around, squeaking around on the floor.
Unreal.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's for sure going to be a weird world for our kids when they get to be our age.
Yeah.
The world is going to be unrecognizable.
Yeah, I feel like it's taken the edge off things too.
It has.
It really takes the edge off things. Like, you haven't actually done that. Like, you haven't actually climbed Everest. But I sort of have. I did it in a virtual reality game, and it was tough.
Not really, though.
Not really, though,
No. You didn't have... Your life wasn't at stake.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I've been actually talking about this on stage, that I'm worried about this. I'm worried about people being able to have experiences that they didn't earn. Like if there's a virtual reality game where you play it and all of a sudden you're in a NASCAR and you're winning some gigantic race, you're in the driver's seat and you're shifting the gears and it feels like you're like indiscernible from feeling like you're winning a race.
Yeah.
That's gonna happen. They're gonna be able to do all these different things, and it's gonna make people more and more dependent on technology and weaker and weaker physically.
Weaker and weaker. That's how I feel too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like going to the gym and working out and getting all these muscles, but then moving away from any manual labor.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying don't be fit, but I'm
Right.
saying if you're building them muscles,
Right.
fucking use them.
That is true. There's a lot of guys that go to the gym and they'll work out hard for 45 minutes, an hour at a gym, but make them work a construction site.
Yeah,
they carry lumber all day and dig. They'll be fucking complaining, looking for protein shakes. And
Burning out.
The real problem is going to be sex.
Yeah.
That's the real problem. You're going to be able to put those things on and have sex with anybody you want. Like anybody. Scarlett Johansson.
That's fucking weird.
So they're already doing these things where they face swap with computers. So they take beautiful actresses and they put their face on porn stars' bodies. And it's hard to tell, man. I mean, it looks like a sex tape with a famous actress.
That's disturbing.
It is disturbing.
I wonder if there's a Joe Rogan one.
I'm sure there is. So
there is now because we mentioned it.
Yeah, we talked about it, and it's probably the gayest thing that's ever lived. But I think the real worry is that not just like see it, but do it.
Yeah.
Like you're going to be able to, like the Matrix, you're going to be able to put this on and you're going to be able to, like this haptic feedback suit. That's just one step. Eventually they're going to figure out a way to make your body feel it. And then you're going to be able to have sex with people.
Done. Yeah.
Yeah. Like anybody you want. Like you're never going to have to be nice to people again.
Yeah.
Because everybody's going to fuck you. You know?
Yeah, I know.
That's one of my point was kind of on stage is that like one of the reasons why it's hard, like it's hard to have sex with people. Like you have to plan it out. I mean, it's not that hard, but it's, you have to agree that you like each other.
Yeah.
You have to hope that she likes you and you like her or whatever. And you develop your personality like to get people to like you more.
Yeah.
That way it's more likely. You be a nicer person, you get rewarded for that, you realize, oh, it's nice to be a nice person, and then it actually makes you a nicer person.
Yeah.
If you don't have to do that, in the future, we're going to be...
People are dressing a certain way and trying to keep hygienic and be nice, and then, everyone just turns into a fucking slob because they're going to sleep with some pretty actress anyway.
Oh, yeah, and in that virtual reality, they're going to look like Ryan Reynolds anyway.
Yeah.
They're going to have a full six-pack and look beautiful. And then other people are going to meet you in there. They're also going to be... you're going to have some disgusting human beings, and then in that world, they're going to be perfect.
Yeah, but then there'll be people like me that I'm like, nah, I'm traditional.
Yeah.
I sleep with real
people.
My wife.
Real humans.
Yeah, exactly.
That's going to be old school. That's going to be like riding a bike.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
What's he doing?
What, do you walk everywhere?
It's crazy. Yeah, I posted a video actually, which is like 700 images stacked together out at Joshua Tree.
Oh, I saw that.
Yeah, and it's like the Milky Way cruising past, but then there's just the air traffic, dude, is insane. It's just like constant.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, anyone looking in, this must already look like the future. You know, it must look so futuristic already. And I'm like, well, it sort of is. Maybe this, like we're living in it now.
Here it is.
Yeah. Look at the air traffic. It
now
peaks at about this point here. Look at them all just back and forth.
And that's all air traffic? None of that is asteroids?
Nope.
Or
Every
meteors?
bit of that's air traffic.
Wow, that's such an amazing image, man.
It wasn't until the camera stopped early hours of the morning that there was
And for anybody, this is adam.greentree on Instagram. And you still have your photography page, First Man Image?
Yeah, First Man Image.
First.man image. And these are some amazing photos.
Yeah,
that's incredible.
That's about 300 photos stacked together, so you actually get a star trail. That's in Australia, so that's the Southern Star. You know, that middle point. So that's like the south. And then if you go back to Adam.Greentree, Jamie, that one, if you go back to like that star one, that's the North Star. So that was pretty cool. So one's taken from Australia where you got the Southern Star, which is like, you know, the turning point. And then this is from America, like Joshua Tree there, California, and that's like the Northern Star.
I think Joshua Tree's closed down right now.
Because of people are like, did the federal shutdown affect you at all? I'm like, no, I didn't even know about it until you mentioned it just then.
Yeah, it's going to be a while too.
Really?
I think, didn't they shut down Joshua Tree because people
were going in and they were chopping trees down. It wasn't just because of the trash. It started because of the trash, and then over like the last week, people were actually going in and like chopping some trees down, like doing super assholes.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So there was signs up that it was closed, and I wasn't actually camped in Joshua Tree itself. I was like out of the tourist section, just off the side of the road where I could. But someone was saying about, you know, that the government or whatever, the federal government, you know, with all the trash, but the federal government's not leaving the fucking trash there. That's people.
Signature trees are among the shutdown victims. Wow. There's only a few trees in Joshua Tree. And these people are chopping them down just to be dicks because they know there's no one there.
Pretty sure, yeah.
They're probably trying to collect something from it. But
they're just probably trying to be assholes. God damn it. And that is...
filth.
Joshua Tree is a massive place, too. It says there it's larger than Rhode Island.
Yeah, it's beautiful once you get out there. Man. That's a real shame, yeah.
You know, this is the thing about people that don't spend much time in the wilderness and don't appreciate the wilderness. They're
not connected to it. They don't understand. So I heard a bunch of people in the city because, you know, I spent the last 5-6 days here in LA, you know, and the bad weather's come in. They're like, oh, this is disgusting weather. And I'm like, fuck no, the bush is loving this. Yeah. Like, the earth's loving this. You just need rain, especially after all these horrible fires that you had. But like, rain's a good thing.
They're just so complainy.
Yeah.
It rains out here literally 10 days a year.
Yeah, yeah.
10 days a year is normal.
Yeah.
I mean, I might be exaggerating. I might be exaggerating, but slightly.
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Like, I don't imagine it rains more than 50 days a year out here.
Yeah, crazy.
I think that's no. That's not exaggerating, right?
10's probably about right, yeah, I feel like.
Nah.
Since I've lived here,
this
might be a little more of the drought time. But
let's take a guess. How many days a year on average does it rain in LA? I'm going to say 25. 25 days a year.
16.
16. I bet you're right.
That's 2 per month. That's a lot.
Yeah, but sometimes it's a bunch together. Maybe. Like this is like 7 already so far in the last week and a half.
Let's bet on it. I'll bet you that Kanye doll.
No fucking way, bro. Oh, shout out to Plasticell.
That's cool.
For this dope ass Kanye West doll.
It says rain days is 35.
Damn.
35.
Damn.
Wow.
You're closer. You can keep Kanye.
I don't. It's tough to get.
They should have like an
284 sunny days per year. It just means, I don't know, 39 inches per year. It's tough to figure that out.
39 inches per year is not a lot, though.
So but the problem is it's California, right? It's like Northern California fucking rains every day. Like if you go like near the redwood forest, that's a rainforest.
Yeah,
up there.
yeah.
It rains constantly. We spent some time up in Mendocino. It's beautiful, man.
Nice.
Right by the ocean.
Yeah.
Fucking trees are so big, they're stupid. It doesn't even make sense. You get trees as big as this room.
Yeah.
You're standing there going, how old is this?
Yeah,
they're like, oh, this is a 2,000-year-old tree.
Yeah.
Like,
you're in a desert stretch.
Yeah. Like 1,000-year-old tree is like a normal tree up there.
Yeah. I've noticed around the city there's a lot of Australian natives, like gum trees and eucalyptus and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
Well, they must have been imported at some point and just realised they do well in the harsh conditions.
Well, you know, the palm trees is sort of the Hollywood signature tree.
Yeah.
That shit's from Hawaii.
Yeah. But they look good.
But it's just so funny that, like, that's sort of indicative of what California is. Like, we don't have a real, you know.
It's just the diversity.
I mean, everything comes from somewhere else here. There's no, like, native Los Angeles people, you meet one of those and you're like, whoa, like you're a test tube baby or something.
Yeah, where you from, Fucking Disneyland, dude.
I was born in Disneyland.
Holy
My
shit.
dad is goofy. What's it like wandering around there?
That's hectic. So especially like, because everything I do is like wilderness and out. Like I adapt fine, like that's not an issue, but I don't like it. Just because I adapt doesn't mean I like it. But Disney's a different place. Like I went in there yesterday, like fucking dressed as a man, you know, jeans on, a flannelette shirt, you know, and a camo cap and walking around. And then the kids talk me into going to that. What's the
Splash Mountain?
Splash Mountain. And my eldest is like, sit in the front, Dad. It's the place you won't get so wet in the front. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I jumped in the front and we come down. And I'm fucking yelling, so my mouth is open, dude. We hit there. I nearly fucking drowned. I swallowed that much water. I'm like, fuck, I've got AIDS for sure. This is fucked. So a whole gollop went in my mouth, fucking soaked me, drenched me. And then it was cold, dude. It come over cold.
Yeah.
So I've walked around Disney for the morning thinking, like, look at these fucking Fruit Loops and the way they're dressed and all their Disney clothes. The only clothes you can buy in there is fucking Disney clothes.
Yeah.
I'm wearing, it was pajama pants with fucking Mickey Mouse's head all over them. This fucking, this shirt that's got Disney fucking written all over it. Fucking walking around there like I fitted perfectly in after that. And it's like fucking... I actually look like fucking, who's the owner of Disney?
Walt Disney?
Walt Disney. It fucking shot his load all over me, dude. There was fucking Mickey Mouse and shit all over me.
Well, we were there the other day. They have warming stations set up outside of Splash Mountain where you can step into this, like, it looks like a phone booth and you get warmed up. But it costs money.
Yeah, everything costs money in Disney.
Yeah, but I'm like, Jesus Christ, you can't get people wet and then charge them to dry off.
Yeah,
that's
crazy.
fucking brutal.
Yeah. I think it's all fucking a bit of a scam.
It is, but let me tell you something.
It's an amazing place.
Kids love it.
100%. My kids went mental on those rides.
Have you been to Florida yet?
Yeah, 6 years ago I went to Florida, yeah.
When you go to Florida again, you got to go to Disney World.
Disney World,
Disney World is way better than Disneyland.
Yeah, I think we went there. We ended up going there.
I wouldn't say it's way better because Disneyland's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But Disney World has the best ride of all time. They have this Avatar ride. What is it called? Flights of Passage.
Right.
And you ride one of them Avatar dragons. It's all virtual reality.
Yeah.
You put these goggles on and you climb on this thing that looks like a motorcycle and it straps you in place. And what you're riding is one of them giant dragons from Avatar.
Yeah.
It's fucking incredible, dude. It's the best ride of all time.
Really?
I've sent a bunch of friends there and I get text messages back from them like, holy fucking shit. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, you're there with
no joke.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You feel the breeze, you smell things there, you see these animals you're flying over. It's wild.
Unreal.
It's all HD. Whew, 3-dimensional.
Yeah.
Amazing. God damn, it's good.
Yeah, no, I'll stick to hunting and camping and shit.
Well, at the end of the day, Steve Rinella said it best. This is a quote that he said that I think he was talking about someone else told him this, that there's two different kinds of fun. There's fun that you have while it's happening, like you ride the roller coaster. It's fun. But you don't look back on that 5 years from now and go, that was amazing.
Yeah.
But then there's things that suck while you're doing them, like your 28-day trip in the Rocky Mountains, pointing a gun that you don't even know has a jammed bullet in it, and a grizzly is charging at you. Yeah. Like, that will be fun for the rest of your life.
Oh, totally, yeah.
You'll feel that when you bring it back, when you talk about it.
Yeah, there's like shallow fun. Some things are just shallow, but they're cool to do. There's nothing wrong with doing them.
Yeah.
But they're not real meaningful.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then there's shit that you do that's just really meaningful, you know. It builds character. It's something that you always look back on, you know, memories and shit.
But there's feelings that you get when you come back, too, where you appreciate things. Like Callan and I did this trip with Rinella in Prince of Wales, and we were up there for We were supposed to be up there, I think, for 7 days, but on the 6th day, a storm was coming in, and so we wound up bailing early because I had a gig in 2 days, and otherwise I would have been stuck up there. Like, you get stuck. It rained every fucking day. And it didn't just rain every day. It rained all day, every day. There was like, if you had a break, it was a 5-minute break.
Yeah.
Like, where look, the sun, and then
just pure misery.
Again. So inside the tent, I put my headlamp on, and there was, see, this is what fucks you up. You think, well, when I'm inside the tent, I'll be dry. No, there's no dry because the air's wet. And when I turned my headlamp on, I realized the entire inside of the tent was moisture particles floating around the air. And I was like, fuck me. I'm in this wet down bag, and I'm looking around. I'm like, you're never going to get dry, bro. This is just, it's okay. Yeah. But, you accept it. But then when we came home after the 6 days, and I took a shower, and then we were in the car, and it was sunny out. And I was like, God, this is the best I've ever felt. I'm so happy. I don't think you get that happy unless you feel miserable first.
No, that's right. Yeah. So you know the misery, and then so you know the little things that we take for granted in life every day are like, fucking wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kim did this hike in Montana with me, and it's like 14 miles, and there's just like not a flat bit of ground on it. It's just continually going up, and it's in the snow, and she had an issue with her leg, and anyway, we got up the top and we set up camp, and it's just been miserable. But even a fire there, we lit the fire, and she's fucking smiling, she's loving it, and then we come back to the trailer, like we're not even in a housey, we're just traveling around in like a Winnebago trailer. And we get back to the trailer, and you get the flicker light on and turn the tap on, and it's hot water, and she's just like, fuck yeah, this is awesome. But a week goes by, and then you start taking that shit for granted again. Some people do anyway, So,
oh, yeah. Yeah, you certainly can. But I think a guy like you're in the wilderness so often that, it's almost like you have a permanent appreciation for both things.
Oh, totally. Yeah. I actually miss it. I actually don't like this side of life as much as that side of life.
Yeah, I see it. I get it. I like both. Obviously, I make a living in cities.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah.
But
it's nice to go out and dabble in it, live in it, and come back out of it. 100%.
Man, I love it. The few hunting trips that I get to do a year, when I'm out in the actual wilderness, like when we're in the mountains of Utah elk hunting, I just like sitting down sometimes. Just sit down and take it all in for a couple minutes. Yeah. Even though you're in the middle of it and you're running around looking for elk and you hear them, I just like how quiet it is.
Oh, it's the best. You start knowing yourself, and you start knowing the wilderness and the real world. It's like, because you always say, you said on one of the podcasts, I don't know if it was one with me or someone else, that it's so funny that we say the outdoors, because everything's outdoors, like fucking everything's under the ceiling of the earth, that's what it really is.
Yeah.
But it's so weird that you don't really know the outdoors unless you stay out in the wilderness or something like that.
Yeah, and I think also being out there at night. There's something about being out there at night. Boy, the campfire, and you hear things like, what was that? Fuck was that? You looking around.
Absolute best, yeah.
It just seems, and the campfire somehow or another seems to be able to protect you.
Yeah.
Most animals don't want to fuck with campfires.
Yeah,
you see that fire, like,
yeah,
I'm going to stay clear.
Yeah. Me, I took Kim and the kids. We travelled around Australia in, it must have been the end of 2007 and early last year. And we camped out on the Tanami Desert, which is like one of the last places to really be discovered and explored in Australia. Like there's no artificial lights out there at all, like whatsoever.
Whoa.
And we camped out on the desert, and the only thing that was around us was like dingoes and camels. Like you'd hear them moving through the night.
Camels?
Yeah. But we sat there at camp. I just had my truck, my ute, with the camper on the back, like real lightweight setup. And we sat there, no lights on the camper or anything. So you're sitting in the pitch black, moonless night. And the meteors, dude, like I reckon we counted 40, 50 meteors over like half hour, an hour. Just
they're always
the naked
flying
eye,
in.
seeing them perfect, dude. Sitting there with the family, and I'm like, this is the best. Like it was so amazing just to sit there, especially with the kids and Kim as well.
It's a little unnerving when you find out how many times they enter the atmosphere.
Oh, yeah. There's I think
how many of them are out there?
Yeah, Jamie could probably look this up, but I think 100 tons of meteor hits the earth every single day. 100 tons, dude. But most of it enters in dust form because it breaks up.
God.
But so last year, I was up at my cabin just chilling out by myself. Woke up in the morning, needed to do a piss, walked out. And I'm looking up, and this meteor come through, and it was so bright that it actually lit up the ground, dude. Like the most incredible meteor that I've seen. I had a time-lapse photo going in the opposite direction. I quickly turned it around, and you see the meteor's dust for like, it lasts for 25 minutes, half an hour in the camera, and it's just drifting, changing shape in the atmosphere. It was insane.
Wow.
So it's just like every now and then there's like a real good one. So then I started looking it up, and I seen one that wrecked a whole village, like in Germany or something like that. This asteroid comes through, wrecking shit that it didn't even touch, but it comes so close to it, it blows the walls and the windows out and everything. And I'm like, this is fucking scary. We live on a little speck that's like turning in one of many galaxies, you know.
My friend Randall Carlson put it best. He said, we live in the middle of a shooting gallery.
Isn't it insane?
It's just the time, the perspective of, you know, hundreds of millions of years. It doesn't register to us because we're only around for 100 years.
Yeah.
So when we look up and we see the moon, I mean, the moon looks like a fucking stop sign in the most jankiest redneck town. You know, and people shoot at signs. That's the moon looks like. It's just fucking shot up with holes. It's just getting nailed all the time, especially with no atmosphere. All those things make it all the way through. Nothing gets slowed down by the air or burns up in the atmosphere.
Isn't that crazy?
Everything just slams into it. Boom, boom, boom. Imagine being up there. It must be all day long. It must be slamming things into it.
It was only, I think it was like 10,000 years ago, there was like a big bang, like a big meteor hit the earth. And I started looking into that, and then I started really looking into Aborigines in Australia, Indigenous, how long they've been around for and stuff like that. And there's now evidence to say that they've been around for 70,000 years. They lived through like 3 of those big meteors hitting the earth, you know, like it's crazy to think about. Like, I wish we had video cameras back then, you know, and they could have recorded it and we could look at it now. Like, imagine that.
Well, Randall Carlson, the guy that I talked about earlier, he is a proponent of this theory that this is what ended the Ice Age. And he's got some pretty compelling evidence to back it up in terms of like massive fields filled with dead woolly mammoths that died almost instantly. Some of them with their legs broken from the force of the impact.
Unreal.
Yeah, he's, it's really interesting because he's a guy who I don't think he has a degree in this stuff, but he's so well read in it that he has these debates and conversations with people that do have these degrees in it, and he can tell them things about it. And it's hard in those fields to be taken seriously if you don't have a PhD in whatever discipline it is. But man, his work on these things is so compelling, and the podcasts that I've did with him are just mind blowing. But in terms of like the evidence that points to some event that ended the Ice Age very rapidly and caused the disintegration of the ice that was over North America. You know, North America had something like a mile high plus sheet of ice over most of it just 10,000 years ago, 12,000 years ago.
I think I was driving through Wyoming, and they've got all these signs up in Wyoming that are really interesting, and there's a rock formation. It will tell you how old that rock formation is, how it formed, because rock usually embeds in layers like this. It's formed in layers like this, and then you'll see a rock like that, sideways. All the lines are like this. There's some of them there that are like hundreds of million years old, and there's a sign there showing it, and it's incredible to think how much the Earth's changed. And you just said it, we're around for 100 years at a time max, and it's just like, we're a drop in the freaking ocean. Like, even the whole human race is a drop in the ocean compared to like how old the Earth is. And it's just crazy to think of it's hard to comprehend that there was that much ice over here because there's none now. But it's been that long, and that's, it's mind-boggling to think of.
Well, they find shells in Montana.
I found some on top of friggin' some big mesa out in the desert, dude. Like, there's no water for miles, and there's shells there. There was like starfish fossilized in the rocks, and it's all like coral bed, and that was like the bottom of the ocean. That was a reef bed. Yeah,
it's the Great Western Inland Sea. Yeah, they had sharks out there. I think they had megalodons in Montana.
Shit.
they find dinosaurs there all the time. One of Dudley's friends, well, Dudley knows a guy who has a ranch out there in Montana, and he found a bone in his ranch, just maybe something protruding from the ground. And he wanted someone to get a look at it, so he got a hold of some, I guess, what would you have, paleontologists? Like,
yeah.
They went and they said, you got a fucking T-Rex here, bro.
Holy
You
shit.
got a T-Rex on your property.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. I think they gave him $1 million for it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like a fully intact or close to intact T-Rex.
Far out.
Yeah, they apparently
find a
Montana,
T-Rex piece.
Colorado. What do you got there?
A megalodon was found supposedly in Texas.
Jesus Christ. What the fuck,
That's
man?
a fucking great white shark.
Boy, that's a stupid movie. The Meg.
The Meg, yeah.
Oh,
I won't
Jesus.
watch that shit.
I watched it the other day.
Yeah, I could tell.
I was like, what am I sitting through here? It's so stupid. There wasn't just one. There was a bunch of them. Spoiler alert.
Can you find out how much media?
Yeah, I was struggling to find that, and then I think I found what you found. So it says here's from NASA's website. There's 100 tons of dust and sand-sized particles
Every day.
hit Earth every day, but that's
Every day.
It doesn't. It seems like it would put the balance of the Earth off. You know, like it's. Do you know what I mean? Like, are we sending shit back out into space? Are we sending 100 tons of shit back out into space every day to offload this?
Look at this. Every 2,000 years or so, a meteoroid the size of a football field hits Earth and causes significant damage to the area.
That's some
Finally,
scary shit.
once every few
that could be
million
in the
years,
next 10 minutes.
An object large enough to threaten Earth's civilization comes along. Not just that, bigger than that. Impact craters on Earth, the Moon, and other planetary bodies are evidence of these occurrences. Yeah, they don't even know. You know, that's the most spooky thing. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson said that we are decades away from being able to do anything about one of those things coming our way. And I said, so all these people that think that like they could stop it when it's happening, he's like, not happening. He goes, there's nothing you could do.
What about Armageddon, bro?
The movie?
Bruce Willis.
Yeah, we got to
He'll
send
sort
Bruce
it.
Willis up there. He'll figure it
He'll
out.
sort it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's people have like a real distorted idea of the technological capabilities in terms of like, first of all, NASA's so under budgeted. They barely have enough money to put, satellites in orbit. They don't have enough money to stop asteroids from coming in. I mean, the amount of money you would need is so fucking massive. It would take a cooperative joint effort of every major country in the world.
Yeah, and such a force of nature. And, a force of nature usually can't be fucked with, like it's scary.
Well, all they can do, all they think they could do, and not even now, but in the future, is move it off target slightly.
Yeah.
Just somehow or another give it a bump. Send it into Mars or something.
At a certain distance, and it completely misses, Cracks a moon instead. Darkness. No, it's light for forever.
Yeah, it's scary. Space is scary. And you don't really see space unless you're out there with no light pollution. I don't think people that don't camp or that don't go out, you look up at night, like last night, well, not last night, but a couple nights ago when it wasn't raining, it was a clear night, and I saw quite a few stars because there was no moon. I was like, wow, this is so pretty. But it ain't shit.
But you're not seeing the volume of it, yeah.
Those photos that you have?
Yeah. Out at my farm, you can just sit there with the naked eye, and you can look right into those. There's so many stars that it looks like a dark spot of the Milky Way because you can see so much of it. You see color in it and everything. It's an amazing spot.
Yeah, the color is weird, right? What is the color? What is that?
I don't know. I looked at some photos the other day, not my own photos, someone else's photos, and they were showing the raw images, and the color that was coming out of these raw images, they look like absolute pillars, like painted pillars, dude.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know if it's a depth in it, if it's
something like that. Jamie, go to Adam's the First Man Instagram again. Like this image, like the ones of
look at that one from BC. Go down one strip. That one there. That's with the Northern Lights in it.
Wow.
But yeah, that's so no light pollution out there, obviously.
Oh, you saw the Northern Lights in BC? I didn't know you could see them in BC.
Yeah.
I thought you had to be in like Iceland or some shit.
No, that was cool. I've seen them when I was in Northwest Territories. They were lighting up the ground, and right in front of your eyes. They were just like dancing constantly right in front of your eyes. That was awesome.
In the Northwest Territories of Australia?
No, in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Northern Territories of Australia, right? That's what they call it?
Yeah,
Northwest is, okay. So where is it at the best though? Is it the best place to see it in like Iceland or some shit or Norway?
I don't know. I've seen it. So I've seen it in Northwest Territories. I've seen it in BC. We didn't see it in Alberta when we were there. No. But I think we had shitty weather while we were there too.
It's got to be a crazy thing to see though, huh? It's like green smoke in the sky.
Yeah. If you go down a couple more, Jamie, please.
Silence.
There's the farm go up one. Yeah, hit that one in the middle there.
Wow, look at the color in that one.
Yeah.
God, that's amazing. And is that, what kind of, you have to do something with the aperture?
Well, for starters, it's open for longer.
Right.
So it's gathering in more light. You know, like the human eye, you have to actually lay there in the dark for a fair while and just like stare into that sort of, to get a good look at it.
How long is it open to get that image?
That's like 13 or 15 seconds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. You can leave it open for 30 seconds or you can put it on like an actual jammed open for a long time, but it's way too much light for what the farm has. And you can start getting a lot of distortion as well.
That's such a cool picture with the cabin as well, with the light coming out of the cabin.
Yeah, isn't that crazy that there could be infinite Earths out there?
Yeah, that's what's crazy is that each one of those is a sun.
Yeah.
And most of them are bigger. I mean, apparently our sun is a little bitch-ass sun.
Little bitch-ass sun. Thank God for that, otherwise we'd all be fried.
Well, we just have to be further away.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at that. But the big ones don't last that long, apparently. Our sun's a good one. It's like a Toyota Tercel.
It's like
they're
a
shitty
Toyota Hilux,
but
you
they
mean.
fucking last,
Land
man.
Cruiser.
Hilux, we don't have that over here.
Yeah, you got like the Tacoma.
Yeah, Hilux is like a small Land Cruiser, right?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
You guys got a bunch of wacky cars.
The Cruiser's probably better. I'm about to buy a Land Cruiser. That's the Hilux there.
The new Land Cruiser? Yeah.
The tray back though, so like a dual cab, so like 5 seats, but it's got a tray on it. And then
a tray? You mean like a pickup truck bed?
Like a pickup truck bed, but we usually rip the one that's on it off. We usually rip the pickup truck bed off because it's bulky, you know, there's not a lot of room in it really. Mm-hmm. Usually rip that off and we'll build a steel tray. So it's like a whole flatbed, or you might call it a flatbed. Mm-hmm. And you can just fit a lot more on it. And it's a lot more rickety, you know, you can throw firewood, rocks on it, whatever the fuck you want.
Well, you guys have to have vehicles that you could drive for like a day before you hit a gas station.
If you're doing that, if you're doing those hunts that I do, yeah. So one of the first things you do is you rip off the fuel tank and you put like an aftermarket fuel tank on it that's usually like twice the capacity.
Yeah.
Or you throw a second fuel tank on it and go from there. So I don't know what it is in gallons, but like say a fuel tank's like usually 60 litres.
20 gallons is what usually a fuel tank is out here.
Well, then we'd double it to like 40 or 50 or 60 or something like that.
Right.
And because there's such a market for it in Australia, there's a bunch of them that you buy ready that are ready to mount onto your vehicle.
Why is there a market for that in Australia?
Because it's fucking 100 miles anywhere. That's why. Forward driving's like different in Australia as well. You know, it's like, so where my business is, the nearest city, which is Perth's like 18 hours drive. You know, and there'll be fuel.
18 hours drive to the nearest city?
Yeah.
18 hours?
18 hours.
What is that, Jamie? That's like
too far.
But what would it take us to get? That's like Colorado?
I've driven from Ohio to here twice, and it took 33 hours. And 24 hours gets you from like Columbus to about Amarillo, Texas. And that's
24 hours of straight driving.
Straight driving.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so this is like Western Australia is like a massive state. It goes from the very top of Australia to the very bottom of Australia.
What does it feel like when you get out of the car for 33 hours of driving?
It sucks. So bad. The one time we ended at like 4 a.m, right on the Sunset Strip, right at that hotel, the Hyatt.
Wow.
Like 5 a.m. But when you get in LA at 4 a.m, you're right in the traffic again. You're like tired as shit. You're like, oh, it's time to go. You got to go because you're about to wreck right at the end of the trip.
But you're pumping Kanye. You're pumping Kanye the whole way, though.
Actually, we were, yeah.
Keeping awake. It's a hellish drive. And there's just, you know, to some people it's nothing the whole way, but it's beautiful country. Like, if you're into the outback, you're you're staring out and you're happy the whole time.
Is that a very popular thing to do in Australia, is to go out into the outback? And
It is, yeah. Between like 4Drive and like touring enthusiasts and like we call them the grey nomads, so like older people that have retired with grey hair, like old mate's beard there.
Grey nomad?
Young Jamie ain't looking so young. But a grey nomad we call them, yeah. They'll get like a
is
tow
that a
behind trailer.
normal description in
Grey nomad, yeah. In Australia
so
it
if
is.
I said, yeah, we saw these grey nomads out there, people go, okay.
Yeah, don't say it the grey nomads though.
No?
No.
Two grey nomads.
Yeah.
But if you said it went to the gas station, like, you see anybody out there? Yeah, we saw some grey
Yeah,
nomads.
totally,
That's
yeah.
normal. People
Yeah.
know what you're saying?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, do most people that will do this, are they just going out there camping? Like,
Just camping, getting a good, influx of the outdoors sort of thing, getting a hit.
it seems like there is quite a bit of hunting in Australia, though. Like, particularly
There is,
bow
but-
hunting seems to be on the rise.
Yeah, it's just not really promoted well, except for, the bow hunting community itself. Whereas you come to America and there's like towns with big sign up saying "Welcome Hunters," it's promoted.
Really?
Yeah, it's not. It's like it's not part of our history in Australia, even though it is.
Signs that say "Welcome Hunters"
In America, haven't you seen them
Oh, in
signs?
America.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
in
in
America.
Australia, there's none of that.
Oh,
no.
yeah, that's what I meant.
So I think it is on the rise, and I think there's like this bit of a trend at the moment, go and kill your own, which is
Right.
good. I love that.
Well,
That's
especially
awesome.
because Australia has so many non-native species that you can hunt.
Exactly, yeah.
And I mean, you don't ever have to buy meat in Australia.
No.
Do you ever buy meat?
If we're eating chicken,
Yeah.
that's about it. But
Just to mix it up?
yeah, the fridge is full. I fill all my friends' fridges, my family's fridges. Stuff
Speaking
like
of chicken, what's that mountain lion taste like?
fucking delicious.
That's what I
it
keep
tastes
hearing.
like.
I
Yeah.
keep hearing it's delicious.
Yeah.
And people get angry. It's so strange to me how angry people get if you kill a mountain lion.
Yeah.
Because they think that if you kill it, it's different than killing a deer or something that's a normal thing to eat.
Yeah.
Even more than a bear.
Yeah,
I think
it is.
they get more angry.
It's a kitty cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, that motherfucker will kill you.
Yeah, I had a bunch of people saying, you shouldn't have killed it. I don't see mountain lions like I see deer. Fucking no shit. Because if you've seen mountain lions like you've seen deer, there'd be no deer. It's as simple as that. I don't know what the numbers are, but there's probably supposed to be like one mountain lion for every 500 deer or something like
Yeah.
that.
Well,
And
they
they're
eat one a day.
Yeah, that's right. And they're a sneaky creature.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to see them. They're not like that.
Listen, you could go your whole life not seeing them and they could be around you all the time.
Yeah, definitely.
That's a fact. If
Yeah.
you live in the wilderness, if you live in Montana or you live in Colorado and you live in the woods, you might see one every few years.
Yeah, yeah.
You might.
Yeah,
You might see one
exactly,
every
yeah.
few years. And they are
I'll-
fucking everywhere.
Yeah, I'll see prints all the
Yeah.
time, but I'll never see a cat. Like,
Yeah.
I've actually never seen a cat in the wild except for the one that I hunted. And that's like that story I was telling you before. Like, it was eating a calf, but they typically kill a deer every single day.
Yeah.
So
It's a lot of
It's-
fucking deer.
the human brain allows us to manage things in a certain way, and it's like these biologists have put all this study and research into, going, okay, you can hunt males in this area. So that's all I could hunt where I was. I could only shoot a male.
How do you know it's a male?
Well, that's when the dogs come in handy. So, like, I've never really wanted to hunt with dogs because I like to do all the hunting myself, but there's a special bond between the hunter and the dogs when you're hunting, that's for sure. And it was actually a really good experience. I really loved it, but a lot of people frown on using dogs. But the best way to determine the sex is the dogs will track it and the lion will take refuge in a tree, and then you can have a look at his genitals and make sure it's a male.
With binoculars.
Yeah. Or sometimes if they're low enough, you can tell with the human eye. So the first thing we established was, it was the lion that I wanted, the lion that had killed that calf or was eating that calf alive. We ended up getting the rancher to come in, and he ended up putting the calf out of its misery. It couldn't be saved. And then we put the dogs back on that mountain lion track, and they chased him about 7 miles. And they ended up treeing him. We marched in and hiked into the tree and ended up determining that it was a male. And then I ended up shooting, and it was a really good death. It was quick. But if it was a female, we would have had to have left it where we were. Some states aren't like that, and counties aren't like that, where it can be male and female if the population is too high. What they're trying to do in that part of Colorado is just keep that mountain lion population healthy, and how they determined that was by shooting males only. That could change next year. They could have a rise in mountain lion, a decrease in the mule deer and other animals, so they might change that again, but we could only shoot a male. So
yeah, the problem in America, particularly in California, where they outlawed hunting with dogs, is that the perception of using a dog to go after an animal, the perception is that it's not fair. What people, I mean, this is going to be hard for some people, especially animal lovers, to understand, but that is the only effective way to hunt for mountain lions, because there's no way you're going to sneak up on them. You're just not.
That's right.
You're not going to see them.
That's when numbers start to bloom, and other animals like mule deer and stuff start to plummet, which I've heard a lot that's happening in California. Is the mule deer population's just been decimated because there's no control on the mountain lions.
Exactly. Well, they do have control of the mountain lions, but only government employees kill the mountain lions. They kill, ironically, the same amount of mountain lions they were killing when they were hunting them.
That is insane.
It's insane. Yeah. But instead of people paying money to do it and getting a
which
tag,
goes back into conservation,
and getting to eat the mountain lion, which I know, again, people are like, what are you talking about eating mountain lion? I'm telling you, folks, I haven't eaten one, but I'm telling you, and you said it, Brunella said it's one of the most delicious animals he's ever eaten. Yeah,
I wanted to bring you some, but it's actually illegal to bring it in to California.
Good thing we always abide by the law, Adam Greentree.
Exactly. And then
one day I'll try it.
Yeah.
Wink, wink.
So then I've cooked it up and I'm feeding it to Kim.
Yeah.
And I was cooking chicken as well, just in case her and the kids didn't like it. I had chicken on the grill as well. And I served the mountain lion first, and they were eating the mountain lion. And I'm like, what do you think of it? And she's like, oh, I've got the chicken. And I'm like, no, you don't. You've got the mountain lion. And it was delicious, dude. It's tender as. I felt like it was a taste between like chicken and pork, or chicken and even venison. Like, I found it right in the middle there. It's delicious. And I'm not saying everyone should go out and hunt a mountain lion, because you can't do that.
Right.
But there's certain places that you can go and get a tag for the benefit of wildlife and go and hunt a mountain lion.
People just have a hard time with the idea that you are somehow or another helping to control the population by killing an animal that kills other animals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's really
idea
weird.
They would rather let nature take its course, but
so even if like let's go to Africa now. Even if the lion population way outweighed something and was running it to extinction, these people would want to sit back and just let that happen. And it's like humans have got a brain capacity that allows us to study and put research into an animal.
Yeah.
That's like actually what would be more healthier for the whole ecosystem would be if we come in and hunt these animals. And what we'll do is we'll charge people a certain tag fee to be able to do that, and we'll put that back into conservation, which will help this animal, and then there's just this beautiful healthy ball that keeps turning.
Yeah, for the people that know it, they respect it and they appreciate it. You know, people like Backcountry Hunters and Anglers and all these different organizations, Rocky Mountain Elk Federation, a lot of different organizations they have in the United States that really appreciate what they're doing to promote that idea here in America. But people that don't hunt and don't go into, I mean, it took me years to kind of wrap my head around it and really truly understand it and become educated as to how it works and how wildlife biologists set these standards, and they do it based on healthy populations and how much time they spend doing surveys and analyzing the population, how important it is to, you know, these reports that hunters send in to wildlife organizations and the Department of Fish and Game. It's really interesting stuff.
And I'm not a blanket killer either, because I understand where those people are coming from as well. And
we
need a certain amount of that, because it could go the opposite way, where it's like, let's just go out and hunt everything. And it's not the case. If something's not in a good, healthy population, I'm not interested in hunting it at all myself.
Of course, yeah.
You know, I want to see these animals stay here for forever. I want my kids to be able to see those animals in good, healthy population.
Yeah, like when I hear about limited entry tags for like for moose or something like that, because there's a small number and they'll let a certain amount of people. Whoa, what fuck did you do, Adam Greentree?
It's been sitting there for ages.
That kombucha's got your name
on it.
This
is why there's a towel here.
Has
this happened before?
No, I'm a slob. That's why the towel's here. I fucking spill everything. I've ruined 2 laptops, at least, right? At least 2 laptops during this show.
That shit's angry. That's like angry.
Bro.
America's dangerous.
It is. Fucking kombucha. GT's
Fuck
kombucha is very dangerous.
Going back to the coffee.
If I found out, like in some places, they have a small amount of moose, and they'll let you hunt a moose, but it has to be like one moose, and it has to be over 50 inches, and like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to shoot that moose. How many of them are there? There's 200 of them?
Yeah.
Fuck out of here. I'm not shooting
not
that thing.
interested.
No, like, what if the winter comes and kills a bunch of them off, like, which happens? What if wolves move in? Happens.
Yeah.
You
And
know?
that's why these tag limits and that change from year to year as well.
Yeah.
Like I've seen them constantly change because they'll do their research, or the kill wasn't big enough last year, or the winter was too harsh, and they start limiting tags.
Yeah, that's very scientific.
I think in most cases, we've got it right.
Yeah, I think so too. Which is one of the reasons why one of my favorite places to hunt is Lanai. Because Lanai
it's
is
stacked.
It's so out of whack.
With
They're
fucking
like,
spotted little demons that just jump out of the way of arrows constantly.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Of an animal that evolved to get away from tigers. You can't believe how fast those goddamn things
crazy,
are.
eh?
And delicious.
Yeah.
You think it's kind of a weird coincidence that the fastest animal you can hunt is also the most delicious.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah.
How,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of weird.
Yeah, maybe,
It's almost like a
maybe because
reward.
they are delicious, they've learned to move faster. I think a deer, so, we say jump the string, like when you shoot,
Yes.
like the deer hears the bow go off or something like that. And we call it jump the string, which you'll know about this, but a lot of people won't. They don't jump out of the string when they miss your arrow. They actually drop to bound away. So they drop, load up their legs, and then jump, but it's actually the drop. That's when you usually miss them. Well, that moves at over 1,300 feet per second. A really good bow shoots at about 300 feet per second in a hunting situation. So you can't beat them.
1,300
feet per second. That's how fast they start dropping.
God, that's insane.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about access deer, as opposed to any other animal I've ever hunted, is they don't just jump the string. They get out of the way.
Yeah.
They're gone.
Like a whole body length.
They're gone.
And you're just like,
Like, you have to, they have to not know you're there.
Yeah.
Like, the first one that I killed this season had no idea I was there.
No idea.
No idea I was there, and there was a nice wind. So when that arrow hit him, he was quartering away. When that hit him, he had no idea it was coming, and it nailed him perfect.
Yeah. Was that our trip or a different one?
Yeah, that was when I got out of the car, and I saw one 15 minutes into the hunt.
Yeah, big velvet head.
Yeah.
So I try and, it's the same with fallow deer back in Australia, like they're really fast off the mark. I'll try and shoot them when they're busy, when they've got other noise happening, they're raking their antlers, they're stepping forward or something like that. And the few that I shot in Lanai, one was scruffing with another buck, so he was all busy and he didn't move at all and it pegged him. The other one was in high winds in the grass and it had the grass like moving around it and he didn't move. And then the third one was on a really still day and I actually aimed for his heart and he dropped and I ended up hitting him double lungs. It's just, they're so quick, it's like you need to
calculate.
Even right at the moment when you're like, I'm going to shoot, it's like you need to wait for something extra to happen. You know? Yeah.
Well, it's a great place to get accustomed to stalking and hunting animals with a bow.
Oh, totally.
Because the opportunities are so many.
Yeah, you blow one, you're like, I'll move on to the next one.
There's 20,000 deer and 3,000 people on a tiny little island.
Yeah.
Did you ever go out at night in a car? Like when you see them on the side of the road, you're what?
I think I was in the car with you and there was like 400 coming across the road and it's just like all these little eyes just going doo, 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 doo.
It didn't even make sense. It didn't even make sense. And they hire people to go in there with sniper rifles and just take them out one after another.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And then something that's always got to me, so like one of the property owners that lives beside my property where I hunt, he'll go out and, because deer are vermin in Australia and they're just been declassified. They classified them as game animals for a year or a couple of years. Now they've just declassified them because the numbers are just exploding. So you can shoot them under lights, you can do anything. You can feed them, you can bait them, you can do whatever you want.
Wow, they just want to get rid of them.
Yeah,
huh?
and so this guy, he raises cattle. And so that's what he has. He'll go out at night and he'll shoot these deer and just leave them right where they lay. Not take any meat off them or anything, but then kill one of his own cattle to fill his freezer and fridge. And the first time he'd actually eaten venison was when I shot a deer on his property and I cut it up and I actually gave it to him. That was the first time he'd ever eaten venison. Deer, and I'm like, John, you're like killing your own cattle, this delicious meat sitting right there. There's this wild resource and it's renewable because they fuck each other, they breed.
Yeah, and so he's eating his own cattle instead of selling them?
Yeah, and the other thing is, another way that I've always looked at it is these wild animals are there, whether you like it or not. They're there. Why place another cow or another sheep in the paddock to put strain on the landscape? especially if you're eating your own, why not just go and shoot a deer? It's a wild animal, and you're doing the ecosystem a service by doing it.
And they're some of the most healthy animals you could ever eat.
Yeah.
They're delicious. They're super healthy for you. They're so rich in vitamins and nutrients and protein. And the taste, I prefer it over everything.
Yeah.
I really do.
Yeah, and it's not just the taste, it's that whole feeling thing. Like, I went and got this. I earned this. I killed this. I know where this comes from. You're attached to it. We've spoken about it before, but when you get meat that's served in a package at the supermarket, that goes through past hundreds and hundreds of people's hands and breaths and stuff like that, you know. And
it's just like having sex with Scarlett Johansson in the virtual reality world.
There you go.
You didn't
there
earn
you go.
it.
That's the next detachment.
That's it.
It's going to be meat.
Yeah.
Instead of meat, it's going to be sex. That's the next detachment.
Well, there's these people that are making artificial meat now, or not just artificial. I shouldn't say artificial. It's real meat, but it's meat that's made in a lab, and that's I don't know what they're calling it, ethical meat or whatever the fuck they're calling it, but it's the future of meat production. And, you know, this is making animal rights people very excited because they're basically going to have just lab meat.
That's so fucking... Yeah, so you know what's going to happen? No more cows, no more domestic pigs, no more... The shit that they love.
Yeah.
Like, the reason that cow's there is because there's a demand for meat.
Yeah.
So that cow gets a life because there's meat, right?
Yeah.
No one's going to let these cows and sheep and domestic pigs and shit run around on their landscape and take up real estate if there's no market for them.
Well, pigs are the weirdest one because pigs, like my friend Whitney Cummings, she adopted a pig that... Where'd she get that pig? I think it was from the fire, right? Yeah. And she actually wound up driving it to Texas. She drove in her car 24 hours. She's a fucking maniac when it comes to animals. I think her and her fiance drove to Texas with this fucking pig to drop it off at this pig shelter. And damn, dude, when she's with that pig, that thing is like a dog.
No, I mean, that's awesome. Yeah.
Might as well be my dog. I mean, it's just like hanging out.
Oh, they're an
super
intelligent
sweet.
animal. Yeah.
But when they get loose and they're out in the wild, boy, they fucking breed 3-4 times a year.
Yeah.
They'll have big piles of piglets, and those piglets will they eat everything in sight. They're omnivorous.
Absolutely devastating to the ecosystem.
For everything. They're devastating to plants and ground nesting birds, animals, everything. They eat everything in front of them.
Yeah.
They're pigs.
Yeah. And I don't hate them.
No.
Like, I don't hate them. I love pigs. I think they're an unreal animal. But the bigger picture is they need to be controlled. They can't go out there and just ruin our ecosystem like that.
Well, you're seeing it in Texas. Texas is probably, in the United States, is the biggest example of what happens or the best example of what happens when these feral hogs are just completely out of control. They just devastate these agricultural farms.
Yeah.
They have these farms, and they're just getting destroyed.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's all the wildlife, other wildlife as well, because they eat frogs and they'll eat lizards and anything that's on the ground that's edible, they'll eat it.
Yeah.
I wrote an article years ago. It was called Killer at the Pass. It was a place in Australia, and the property owners, like the ranchers, called me up and they said, you need to come out and shoot some of the foxes, like they're devastating our lambs. And I ended up going out there, and when I was driving in with the forward drive at night with the high beams on, I seen this massive big black and white boar walking between the flock of sheep with a lamb in its mouth. There was this pig, and it had got a taste for meat, and it happens all the time. Like, so a big boar, especially a mature animal, will get a taste for meat in harsher conditions, and they'll just stick to meat after that. And I ended up catching up with this pig the next morning and shot it with the bow. It actually attacked me. The first shot wasn't perfect, and it charged me, and I ended up like stabbing it to death. I was on a slope like this on the mountain,
Jesus,
and it was really a battle. And he ended up hooking the bow out of my hand, because when he charged me, I put an arrow on and shot, and just went down one side and like hit one lung, and it just infuriated this boar, and he was on me. And when I was fending him off with the bow, his tusk went into the bottom limb of the bow or the cam or something like that, and ripped the bow out of my hand. And I end up getting my knife off me, and I end up like stabbing this pig while it was like trying to run me over.
Holy shit. How big was it?
It was a big boar. It was like big meat-eating boar like this. And
like how many pounds?
Oh, fucking big. That's how many pounds?
300?
Probably not 300.
200?
Our mountain boars just get real solid. Yeah, probably 200 or something like that. And anyway, I ended up stabbing this thing to death. And when I end up cutting it open, its whole insides, like its whole stomach, was like lamb's hocks, like the feet, the bottom of the feet where they can't swallow, and skulls, and just like little bits of wool and stuff like that.
Wow.
He'd just been going around and just picking these lambs off and killing them.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's a really known occurrence in Australia, and how that if things get harsh, they'll just because they're just absolutely ruthless. They'll just walk right between the sheep and just fucking grab a lamb, walk off of it, chew it up, and eat it. But anyway, first thing in that morning that I found was a pig spew, and it was like this fucking spew like this, and it was the same. It was lamb's hocks, and it was
What's a
like
spew?
bits of vomit.
Oh.
You don't say spew in America?
Yeah, you do, but I thought maybe
Okay.
it meant something else to you.
Yeah, and we're fucking spewing, mate.
Yeah, spew.
Yeah. Spew.
I spewed out.
Yeah, spewed. Yeah. That's what happened at Disney yesterday. Fucking Walt Disney spewed all over me.
So it just threw up bones and
Just
shit?
threw up bones and stuff that it couldn't digest. But yeah, lamb killer at the park.
It's a destructive animal, and they're so ruthlessly efficient in terms of like how much food they can
Yeah.
eat.
So a deer will walk along and it will pick, it will just pick the tops off grass, and the grass regrows. A pig will go through and eat that grass, and it will turn it over and eat the roots and everything as well. Causes a lot of erosion, and then there's no regrowth because there's no roots in the ground.
Because they're greedy pigs.
They're greedy pigs. There you go. But
You know they're the number one cause of death on farms?
really,
Yeah, apparently with domestic animals, people falling into pig pens,
and just into them.
they just
Yeah.
they just devour. And when you're dealing with these giant domestic pigs, they get fucking huge.
Massive, yeah.
Yeah, hundreds of pounds.
Yeah, in like Western New South Wales when times get tough, which is like seems to be fucking all the time now. But they'll get so desperate, like you'll shoot a pig, you're going through it for the farmer and you're just shooting them. You're not even really taking any meat off them because they're like they're eating meat themselves and they're like skin and bones and disgusting. It's more of like a cull mission, and you'll come back in the afternoon and that pig will be completely skin and bones because the other pigs just get in there and you'll hear them. You'll just hear them just scream, and it's the most god-awful sound there is.
They cannibalize.
They cannibalize, yeah.
I was in Tejon Ranch, and we were walking by this really high grass. The grass was like 5 foot high, and we were only like maybe 10 yards away from these pigs fighting. And I said to Ranella, I said, "Now, come on, man. If you didn't know that those were pigs, if I told you there was demons in that grass, you would completely believe it."
Yeah.
'Cause like,
Oh, yeah, going ballistic. Were you
it sounded
hunting
like
them?
something. Yeah, it sounded like
that's the
something
best
from Lord
sound
of the
when you're
Rings.
hunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. But it sounded like Lord of the Rings. It sounded like some horrific scene in
An
a
orc.
monster movie. Yeah, it sounded like an orc.
Yeah.
It really did. I mean, it's just, how is that the same animal as those cute little things that Whitney Cummings is hanging around with?
Totally.
Because the one that she had was like all fluffy and sitting in her bed, and cute.
Loving it.
She taught it how to go outside, to go
Was
to
it
the
a
bathroom.
pygmy pig?
No, it was a pig. That was the other thing she told me. Apparently, those little pigs are not real. All they are is just underfed.
Yeah, right. That's pretty fucking
That's
wrong.
fucked up. Like
Yeah.
when those people have those little tiny pigs, she's like, that's not real.
Yeah.
They're just, it's a baby pig. It's a tiny little pig. It's just going to stay tiny. No, if you don't feed it, it'll stay tiny. Like that's
How about when, remember when they had the kittens in the jars? I think it was a
What?
Japanese thing or something.
What?
You'd never seen that?
No.
They were like a little glass jar, and they'd have a cat in the glass jar. I think they were always fake, but people were advertising it like this is how you can have your cat. Holy fuck! Look that up, Jamie.
Keep
You reckon
the
this is
cat
going
in
to
the
explode?
jar. That's
again?
real?
There you go. Fucking
Oh,
kitty
that's
cat.
not-
No, they're fake.
That's
Those
fake.
ones.
That's fake. Oh, what the fuck?
Look at that thing's eyes.
Okay, some of those look real. So is it just for fun?
They're just for fun.
just
No, I thought there
kittens.
was some real ones where they had the lid on them and everything.
Well, you can guarantee someone's
There you go.
done
Those
that.
fuckers that have got their face blurred out.
Oh,
They
Jesus
got in trouble
Christ.
for it. Yeah.
They
got in trouble
apologize for
doing that.
stuffing a kitten in a jar. Sorry. Yeah. What the fuck, man? Yeah. Yeah, people are capable of incredible cruelty to
Yeah.
animals.
That's why we need the other end of things. That's why I say I can understand it. You
Yeah.
need that other. Like, I'm not extreme where I'm just like hunt everything, but I'm
Right.
sure there's a few people out there like that. I've never met them, where they just like kill everything. Then you need the other extreme where it's like, no, all animals are sacred. Don't touch any animals. They can't be killed. And then try and find that middle ground where you're like, well, that's fucking ridiculous, and that's ridiculous. This is where I am.
I couldn't agree more. I think that's a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of those animal rights people, they it comes from a good place.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah,
they care about animals. It comes from a good place, but their understanding of population control and wildlife management and just the reality of human beings, I just don't think they're getting it.
Yeah.
Like with the mountain lion thing, one of the things they found with mountain lions in California is that almost 50% of their diet is domestic pets. Go to Nature is Metal. Go to natureismetal.com, my all-time favorite Instagram page.
So the mountain lion
I think he got his
adapts.
page back. Either he got his page back or he had to open up another one. But that guy has the most fucked up.
Instagram's sensitizing some shit at the moment.
They
Kim had a video. It's only like a 15, 20-second video of her. It was carrying a white-tailed deer out in Texas. There was no blood on it or nothing. You couldn't see that it had been gutted or anything like that. And they removed it. Said it was violence.
Okay, this is Nature is Metal _
This is the backup account. You follow it though, but
the other account's not up anymore.
Well,
Click on the most recent one, that lion image. When is that from?
December 20th.
December 20th. No, it's new.
Back up?
It's new. See if they're back up.
Main page
Try
is
to,
back.
Yeah, don't go to Nature is Metal _ Just go to Nature is Metal.
Metal. I thought it said mental.
Metal, like
Metal. Yeah.
So that's it. That's the real one. So scroll up, keep going, and that's it right there with the car. This is the quick and the dead. This is a Florida panther in this guy's driveway. Snatches up a house pet. Watch this shit. This is what the fuck you have. This is what the fuck happens. So this guy's got his security camera running. Bam!
Oh, damn.
That's a wrap. It's a wrap, little fella. Is that a dog or a cat?
Fucking nearly looks like
It's a cat.
It's a kitty cat.
Yeah, kill the cat.
Everyone likes a bit of pussy.
There's how dare you? There's a growing population of these things. They're endangered, but they're there. And basically, I mean, it's a subspecies, I guess, but it's basically the same thing as a mountain lion.
Yeah, right.
Look at them.
So the first time I did a little bit of research in Google, it just comes up that cougars are endangered in America, but when you start looking into it, they're not at all. They're on the least concern list in America because the population's thriving.
Yeah.
And then when I spoke to DNR in Colorado about the cougar as well, they were saying that their populations continued to rise, even with the tags that they've given out. Their population just continues to rise. So.
Yeah. And without dogs, you're just not going to hunt them. I mean, the way the people...
No, that's right, yeah.
You might get lucky and stumble across one that's not paying attention to you and
I'd
get
love
a shot
to.
at them.
You'd want to have limitless time, though. Like to actually... That's the difference,
Yeah.
I'd like to have limitless time and then just be like, okay, I'm dedicating a whole month to stalking cougars,
Yeah. Well, that's the knock on bear hunting as well. The bear hunting in the 1990s, they outlawed dogs in California. You can still hunt black bears. I guess black bears are more accepted as a nuisance if the population grows because they'll find your garbage.
Yeah.
And then once
people see them as well.
But it's not just that. Once they find your garbage, like that's where they go.
They keep coming back
day in, day out.
Yeah.
They have a pattern, and they develop these habits. But they stopped using bears, stopped using dogs rather to hunt bears in California, and then they stopped using baiting. So those two things are illegal. There's no baiting and there's no dogs. So good luck bear hunting.
Yeah.
Especially with a bow.
Yeah, pretty tough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The baiting one's another one. Like people don't like baiting, and I get it. We've done it. It's not the same.
No, it's not the same.
It doesn't feel. It's not as good.
Yeah, I did it that one time with you.
Yeah.
And I was sort of like that. It was still good. It was still cool. You know, and there's a tag in place and there's Conservation Act in place, but it just, I've got no desire to go back. So if I've done that now, that's cool.
And that conservation is very important for the elk population, the moose population, the deer population, because they kill an estimated 50% of all moose calves, elk calves, deer fawns. It's all black bears.
Yeah, totally.
And they're cannibals too. They kill cubs.
Yeah, crazy. I watched this one the other day because you hear people like, if a bear charges me, I'll climb a tree. And the black bear climbs a tree, fucking high, dude.
Runs it.
You've seen it.
Yeah, they
And then
run
there's
up
the
a tree.
cinnamon black bear, and she's got cubs. And she goes so fast up that, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You can't climb up a tree to get away from a bear.
Yeah.
Just get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, you're done.
The big ones just don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
But they could still do it.
They can still do it.
Yeah, they can still do it. Like, the idea is like, oh, the big ones won't chase you up a tree.
Yeah. When you see the speed that they go up a tree, then you can imagine the speed that they come across land. You know, and it's just like, because I always tell people about that one that was sleeping on an elk kill that I had, a grizzly.
We showed that video the other day.
Did ya?
Yeah, we showed it on the podcast the other day.
And I remember I yelled at that grizzly, the one that was sleeping on the elk carcass, and it fucking disappeared so fast and quietly, dude. And I'm like, if you don't have eyes on one coming at you, don't know it's going to come at you until you're hit, until it's on you, fucking eating your face off.
Their pads are so soft.
Yeah.
The pads of their feet are so soft in order to sneak up on things. I remember the first time I went bear hunting with Cam, and one was walking in. He goes, right there, right there, right there. And I turned to look. I'm like, it's not making any noise. He's like, they're so quiet.
Oh, this is that video, yeah.
Yeah, here it is.
Look at it going up, running, dude, galloping up the tree.
Running. Yeah. And
some fucking scary shit. It doesn't stop there either. It ends up coming.
Hang on, too.
And that's a black bear with cubs. So you can imagine that situation with the grizzly and her cubs. So fucking scary.
And so that's a color phase.
That looks like a color phase.
And the one
black.
on the top is the black bear. Is the cub?
No, it looks like a full grown black bear. The color phase has got a cub back up the mountain with her. Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Fucking oi, crocodiles don't fucking climb trees.
That's what I heard. I heard they don't.
When are we doing this? Someone started the petition, Fucking Joe Rogan needs to hunt Australia.
Yeah, you keep trying to get me out there. You got snakes too, though, bro. You got spiders and shit.
Okay, let's go over some shit here. The whole season in Australia, I've seen 2 snakes. One of them not poisonous, like a red-bellied black snake, not going to harm you, a friendly snake. The other one, a barely poisonous snake. The whole season in Australia. What
does that mean, barely?
Not very poisonous. Might kill a kid or a dog.
Spiders you guys have, though.
No.
This giant.
They're fucking huntsmen. They're not going to hurt you.
Thank you. Talk to them.
Fucking stay out of it.
Hey, one thing I wanted to ask you about is the thylacine, the Tasmanian tiger.
Yeah.
I read that there was credible reports by people in the woods that they might have seen one.
I wish. I don't think so, though.
But it's so remote, right?
There's so many cameras now. There's guys with scouting cameras that are putting it over deer wallows and stuff, like places that they would come in to drink.
That was a big animal, right? Wasn't it?
Yeah.
How big did they get? Like 100 pounds, something like that?
Something like that. Might be a bit bigger than that.
What a cool-looking animal, too.
Oh, dude. And their mouths come open like this.
There it is. Scientists hunt for extinct Tasmanian tiger after sightings in Australia. Yeah, that's probably what I saw.
I wish.
What is that article from? What year? Scroll
last
up.
year, 2017.
Oh, really? Interesting.
A lot of the extinction was driven from people, right? So, because they're fucking meat eaters, so they'd come in and start eating sheep or whatever. They'd get shot by farmers and stuff like that, which is a shame. And I'm sure they didn't realize they were doing it at the time, but that, they pushed them to extinction. If there's one thing that we should bring back from extinction, if it's possible, I believe they should be brought back.
If it's possible, right? If they have some DNA, because, it would be nice to have some sort of an animal like that could knock down some of the populations of kangaroos and deer.
They probably wouldn't. They probably just come in and devastate livestock populations and people's pets.
In.
but it is a shame.
The rules.
Yeah. But let me get back to why you need to come to Australia. 2 snakes all year in Australia. And fucking 17 snakes in the first month in America, dude. 17.
Aaron Schneider got bit the other day.
Did he?
Yeah,
Shit.
bit his boot.
Really?
Yeah, I think he was in North Carolina or some shit. I forget where he was, somewhere in the South.
My buddy Jace,
struck his boot.
So this was the first hunt that I did when I come to America. We flew into Idaho and we drove straight down to southern Colorado to hunt pronghorn. And we're driving into the property at 2 a.m. in the morning, and there's a pronghorn just standing on the side of the road, and it's just like it's dazed, So my buddy Jace pulls up, he walks over to it and literally touches it on the head, like it's just walking down the road, and we're like, did it get hit by a car? Next minute I see him jump back, a rattlesnake had bit the pronghorn,
Wow.
And he had a leg on either side of the rattlesnake, and it striked him. It actually struck him twice. It missed both times.
Wow.
And I had to keep questioning him. I'm like, did that bite you? And he's like, nah. I'm like, have a think about it. Did it fucking bite you? And he's like, nah, it didn't. Because I watched it in the headlights go for him twice. And once we set up camp, we went back there, and that pronghorn was dead. It had killed that pronghorn.
Wow.
Yeah. And I'm like, fuck America. Fuck America. Australia is so much safer.
A friend of mine was hiking, and he almost stepped on a rattlesnake, and he jumped back and then realized there was a nest of them.
Holy shit.
And there was little ones surrounding him. They were all over the place. He was like, fuck. He was just jumping, hopping around one leg after another.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I actually had...
apparently that happens all the time.
Yeah, it does, yeah. And tarantulas there, dude, everywhere. There was just tarantulas walking over the ground everywhere. It was so fucking cool.
The bold effort to prove the Tasmanian tiger is still out there. Wildlife biologist Forrest Galante has brought one species back from the dead, and he wants to do the same with the Tasmanian tiger. What the fuck has he brought back from the dead, this goddamn Frankenstein? Unable to play. The Cuban solenodon is one of the most curious animals on the planet. Small, shrewd? Must be shrew-like creature.
It's a mammal.
Is a mammal, but a highly venomous one.
Fuck
wow.
yeah, bring that back. Release
Wasn't
it
a
in
single
America.
specimen found that was thought to be lost forever. Then unexpectedly 3 were caught just a few years later. The extinct species marked on. So that may be the case with the Tasmanian tiger.
It'd be awesome. I hope so.
Okay, so here it is. Galante is a wildlife biologist, made his life's mission to search for animals that have wrongly been deemed extinct, and among those species on his list is the Tasmanian tiger. The difficulty leads to an easy... Like, who the fuck has seen one? Keep scrolling. See if anybody, like, legit seen one. He's been traveling around the world searching for evidence of species like Tasmanian dival pachylemur, and the Newfoundland white wolf still exist. Hundreds of species deemed extinct worldwide annually. This process isn't foolproof, and every now and then animals are rediscovered after they were thought to be gone forever, but proving the animal's still out there is no easy feat. I wonder.
Hope so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Captured footage of a Zanzibar leopard, which is thought to be extinct for 25 years due to persecution by local hunters in the Zanzibar archipelago in Tanzania, excuse me. Wow. That would be fucking pretty dope if they actually did find that thing. It's a cool looking animal, you know?
Yeah, they can't be in good numbers anymore, I know that much.
Must be tiny, tiny numbers.
Yeah.
Right? Like an animal like that, like where did they live?
Tasmania.
That's where the Tasmanian tiger, and Tasmania is where?
Down the bottom of Australia.
The bottom.
Yeah, so it's a separate island.
Oh.
But it's that tiny little triangle that's down the bottom. Absolute beautiful island. Like
That's the only place they lived?
I believe so.
How big is the island?
They might have been on the mainland, and I think that's where the sightings have been.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, it's big.
Tassie.
How big is that place?
I don't know, fucking big enough. They don't allow any bow hunting there, so I've never gone.
Do they allow hunting?
Yeah, I think you can hunt with a gun for fallow deer.
Why do they make you use a gun?
I don't fucking know.
Australia's got some weird rules with guns.
Oh, yeah.
You guys have... they bought up all the guns after a mass shooting, right? Is that what happened?
Well, not all of them. If you were a license holder, like you had a shooter's license, and you had a reason to have a gun, then you could still keep your guns. So you had to be like a member of a gun club. I don't own any guns, but you had to be a member of a gun club. I don't own any guns in Australia. You had to be a member of a gun club, have permission on a property where you're hunting and stuff like that to keep your guns. They keep trying to make it tighter and tighter. I think it's tight enough because criminals are going to get what they want.
Right.
You know, it's like how many people have been killed with a baseball bat? Fucking heaps. Are you going to ban baseball bats?
Right.
How many people have been killed with a kitchen knife? You're going to ban kitchen knives. So I think if you've got a legitimate reason to have a gun, you know, like you don't have a criminal record, you don't have a mental illness or something like that, you should have a right to have a gun.
Right.
So you basically do a safety course and training in Australia, and if you've got that reason to have a rifle, then you can have it. No semi-automatics. There's a bunch of rifles and there's a bunch of guns that you can't have in Australia. It's pretty much like bolt action, lever action. And those rules might have changed as well. I'm no expert on it, obviously. Whereas in America, every fucking one's got a gun. Hey?
Yeah.
Like everyone I meet's got a gun. I've got a gun too.
Yeah.
Because if everyone else has got a gun, I want a fucking gun too. It's true. Isn't it true? And my gun's for protection when I go into the wilderness for bears.
Right.
Or if I'm fucking in some weird destination and someone comes in and tries to fucking rape or murder my family, I'm going to use it.
Right.
And, it's just funny like that. But it's crazy to think, and I know it changes from place to place, that, anyone could have a gun. Because, it's like you're right. And to a certain degree, I agree with that. But as well, I think you lose that right. If you've got a criminal record, you've got a mental illness or something like that, then fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
We want good guys with guns, not bad guys with guns. But banning guns isn't going to stop the bad guys from having guns.
Well, at this
so
point,
weird.
It's like trying to take pee out of the pool.
Yeah, it's fucking so.
There's just too many of them.
How?
Yeah. When you hunt in Australia, you're not allowed to use a bolt-action rifle?
You can use a bolt-action rifle.
You can?
It's like the automatic, semi-automatics.
Oh, I think, an AR? You couldn't use an AR?
Yeah, I think pump actions have been taken out now, things like that, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, because I would feel like if, especially with population control, something like fallow deer, if you have that many of them, and I know there's places that are just erupting with them, you would have to shoot them, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you're going to
a lot of places, it's like the whole Californian thing, They're still getting killed, but it's just a professional hitman that's doing it now. There's not the recreation behind it. And in Australia, a lot of the times, a good example is actually across the pond in New Zealand, where they're like, fuck, we need to shoot 30,000 tahr, the tahr that live in the mountains there.
Yeah.
And because tahr are introduced. And I don't think there was a lot of hunters arguing at the time, and no one was really arguing that we needed to shoot some tahr, but we weren't like fucking shoot 30,000 of them, because they shoot them from a helicopter and they leave them rot on the mountain. Yeah. They don't use any of it. It's just a massive waste of resource. And it's like they're never going to eradicate them all anyway. And
why'd they want to shoot 30,000 of them?
Well, they're introduced for starters,
right?
And fucking politicians work off money and fucking having a job to do, so they make a lot of these things up,
But I would think that the money would be in people paying to go hunt them.
Some of these towns live off hunters. Like the only reason that town is there, like all their income is hunters coming in and hunting these destinations. And
that's the reason why the animals are there in the first place. Yeah. In New Zealand.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
In New Zealand, they were all introduced by wealthy Europeans. Yeah. They wanted to make it like a hunting destination.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Which is so crazy. They just threw a bunch of animals on an island.
This is our playground.
Yeah. Like what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, New Zealanders are happy for it now because they've got something to hunt. They've got game animals.
Yeah.
But if they're truly causing that much damage, then yes, obviously, like thin out the population. But why not get hunters involved to do it? Why not promote hunting? Where the meat gets used. Where it's done properly and it benefits the communities.
Well, there's a lot of hunting destinations in New Zealand where people go to that are high fence places, which is a little weird.
Yeah.
Because they're like, even if it's a couple hundred acres or a couple thousand acres, they're fenced in and the animals aren't going anywhere.
It's just different. It's like what we we're talking about before, where there's like shallow fun.
Yeah.
Like I've never done it, but I'd see that as like a shallow fun. And then there's meaningful funs. Fucking walk the mountain. Find your own spot.
Yeah. Well, actually go into the wild. Don't fence the wild in and make it the not wild. Don't make it the domestic.
Yeah. The hard bit about saying that you're a cockhead if you do it is it benefits some wildlife. Like there's gazelle and shit that have been brought back from the concern list or nearly extinction because of high fence operations like in Texas and Africa.
Oh yeah.
So it's like, I suppose it has got its place, but it's just there's different sorts of hunters. Well,
there's also different sizes of these partitions. So like if you're in a place like there's some places in Texas that are 10,000 acres. Like, look, that's so far beyond that animal's wild range that you might as well be in a wild, even if there's a fence, 80 miles in that direction. When the fuck are you ever going to get to that fence if you're a deer? You're not going to.
Yeah, it's true. I think I'm a little bit closed-minded on it. It's the same thing to me.
It's like ideologically the same thing. I agree with you. It feels I've seen those places. It seems weird.
Yeah.
It's like Jurassic Park. You go through these giant gates, and inside those animals are fenced in. They're never getting out.
Yeah, yeah.
They're in there.
Yeah.
There's no mystery.
No, that's right. There's no mystery. That's what it is. And I like the failure in hunting as much as I like the success, if you call like killing an animal the success bit.
Yeah.
I like that the opportunity, and you do everything in your fucking power still. You work your ass off, you fucking feet are bleeding if they have to get to the end of it. But I like the idea that you can still fail on a hunt. And I like failing on a hunt sometimes because it makes you realise, fuck, this is hard. So the next time, imagine everything you shot at, you just smoked. I'd fucking give it away in a day.
Right.
I wouldn't be interested anymore.
Well, it'd be like farming.
That's right. I like that failure because it makes you realise how fucking awesome it is when you get something.
Well, it's different between hunting and any other way that you get meat because it is so difficult and it requires skill, planning, intelligence. You have to have knowledge. You have to know how to play the wind. You have to know when to move, when to not move. It's a tactical situation where you have to use the right tactics to get in on this animal. Otherwise, it's going to smell you or hear you or see you. There's so much involved in it that's not involved if you're just acquiring meat any other way.
And that's what it should take too, because we're taking an animal's life. So it should take that effort, and it's like you put so much heart and soul into it that even if you cut the meat up and it's like ruddy and tough, you're like, fuck, this is delicious.
Yeah. Well, you were talking about your elk hunt in New Mexico this year and how difficult it was, and you guys were out there for over a month.
Yeah. Well, we did Oregon, we did New Mexico, and we did Montana for elk, and we're just like busting our ass the whole time. And then I end up getting one. It was like the one I actually really just wanted Kim to shoot a bull, her first bull, because she's been going at it. And the one afternoon that she took off because she was doing some homeschooling with the kids and trying to get on top of all that, the perfect opportunity popped up and I ended up shooting this bull, and then we never had a good opportunity again, which sucked. But the thing is, that's made her hungrier for it this season. Like she realizes how hard it is, how difficult it is, and she'll appreciate it much more. That's what it should be.
Well, it's cool that she is determined, that it's not discouraging her. That the difficulty, oftentimes for a lot of people, that difficulty, because it's, you're out there 7 days, 10 days, your feet are killing you, you're exhausted, and you're like, I'm just going to go to the fucking supermarket.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to get a rifle.
Kim's actually a really good example of what a lot of your audience would be, because Kim's really been that city girl. Like that's just been her life, and then it took about 7 years to convince her to eat fucking venison, game meat.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And how I did it was I shot a deer, and it was just a nice healthy young deer, and I cut the back straps in the cutlets. I think you guys call them tomahawk steaks. So we call them cutlets. I cut it in the cutlets, and it just looked like lamb cutlets, dude. And I cooked up these lamb cutlets and I served it. And she fucking loved it. Like, her and the kids were just like, this is delicious. I think I actually only had my eldest boy, Hunter, at the time. Like, this is delicious, and they loved it. And then I'm like, that's venison. That's deer. Because it was just the image they hated. They had no idea what the meat tasted like. She had no idea.
Of shooting a cute little deer?
Yeah.
Is that it?
And now it's the opposite, where she doesn't feel as comfortable eating an animal that she doesn't know about. Because if we put venison in the freezer, like, it either goes past just Kim's hands or my hands. That's it. You know where the animal come from. You know that it was healthy. You know everything like that. Yeah. And then cooking it and eating it. And she feels a lot more. And I'm not trying to put anyone down that buys meat, because, like I said, I still buy meat too, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's the population of the world. It demands that. But there's something that you don't feel as guilty about cooking your own meat.
Yeah.
There's some sort of connection there that goes way beyond my birth.
Yeah.
Whereas like a real connection with hunting and eating the meat.
My littlest daughter loves fishing, loves it, and loves that we go fishing together. And we caught yellowtail in Hawaii.
Nice.
And cooked it. Well, I had the chef actually cook it and turned. We stayed at a hotel, and you bring it to the chef at the restaurant, and he made sashimi out of it and made ceviche, and it was so good. But she loves it. She just loves it. She caught something and brought it in. And she wants everyone to know that you're eating something that she caught.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's that.
It's so cool.
Yeah, that's a good feeling.
Well, it's also I'm connecting her with what a fish is. You go. She likes sushi. She's had sushi before. Now she's having sushi that she was there when the thing died.
Yeah.
She caught it. She pulled it out of the ocean. We took the hook out of its mouth. We filleted it, like the whole deal. She saw every step of the way. So
you think there's still like a connection in people that's like it like sparks up again when they do something, because we've done that for so long,
forever. I think when you catch a fish, when it's on the excitement, like it doesn't necessarily even make sense if there's not some sort of a genetic component to it.
Yeah.
Because the excitement is so visceral. Like, it's genetic.
Yeah,
it's
without that, it's like, what do you do? I'm pulling in a line. It's got some weight on it. Something spinning, twiggling on the end.
She's freaking. First of all, she wouldn't let anyone help her. She, like, wanted to do it her. She's fucking
awesome.
8. And she's got a 10-pound yellowtail. And this thing's... And I'm helping her by holding onto the rod. That's all I'm doing because it'll get yanked out of her hand. So I'm holding the rod to make sure it doesn't. And she's got 2 hands on the crank, and she's. But she wouldn't give up. I go, do you want me to help you? She's like, no.
That's awesome.
Yeah, she's so determined because when she did do it and brought it in, the thrill was so powerful. She wanted to be the one that brought it in.
Yeah. It's so cool, yeah. I really believe there's like this ancient connection.
100%.
Yeah, and it's like with hunting, I do hunting a lot now, so I feel like I'm in my element. But even the first time that I shot something and I was cutting it up for meat, I felt so comfortable doing it straight away. And it's like I've done this a million times before.
A lot of people say the same thing. That Brian Callen, in fact, said the same thing. And he and I went hunting for the first time, and he's like, it just seems like something we've always done. Like there's a memory in our DNA. I mean, this is how we've survived. It was a great thrill if you shot a deer, 10,000, 20,000 years ago, and you managed to bring that back to the village. Like, holy shit, everybody's eating good. Yeah, we're gonna get by. We're gonna survive. Our children are gonna get nutrition.
Yeah, there's this deep and meaningful feeling, and it's not like you shot something. You're like, yeah, I fucking shot it. It's not that feeling.
No, you feel excited. You feel you like yes. But it's a different kind of excitement. It's sustenance. You're gonna get nutrients. You're gonna feed your family. And it's all because you did it the way you did it. Especially bow hunting, you know how difficult it is, and you pulled it off. There's this thrill of success, and then there's this deep connection with your meat. When I get an elk, I love eating that stuff. So when I get one, I'm like, okay, good. Now I've got meat. I've got meat for months. Yeah. And my friends have meat. I have a gang of comedian friends that are eating elk all the time now because I give them sausages and steaks and I teach them. Like my friend Tom Papa, I've taught him how to like cook elk roasts. Like he calls, he's like, what do I do? I'm like, you got to keep it low and slow. You want like 275 degrees, get it to an internal temperature around 135, somewhere around then. Then you pull it, sear it on the outside, let it sit for 10 minutes. He calls me up like a couple hours later. Holy shit. Awesome. I'm like, yeah. That ain't like anything else you're going to eat anywhere. It's funny.
It's because the hunt probably starts here for you because you practice and shoot your target. And then you go through all the preparation, you go through the hunt, you're successful, you kill the animal. The hunt doesn't end at killing the animal. No. That hunt continues to go and like you're eating that animal on your plate. Yeah. Like that's the feeling that I get. It's like, and that sometimes I'm like, it's like, why do people call me a hunter? I'm just a human. This is a human thing to do. Right. Like go out, catch your own, cook it, eat it, survive. Continue.
It is weird that it's rare now. Yeah. It's so how rare is it in Australia, like population wise?
I don't know. Fuck all. There's not a lot of hunters. I feel like there is because I'm in the hunting community, so I know a lot of hunters. But if I go to any given person's house, that's not. Most of my friends are hunters as well now. But if say I go to one of Kim's friends' houses, there's no hunters in that house. Right. And then I'll go to a workplace. There's no hunters in that workplace. Like it doesn't come up. They're like, oh, it's so weird that what you do. It's not like that. Even though it's a part of my family's heritage. Like my grandfather, he'd go out trapping. My uncles would go out trapping. My dad would do a bit of hunting, not bow hunting. It was different, and it was almost like it wasn't even called hunting back then. And that's what I always think about our ancestors. Like hunting's like almost like a modern word that we made up. Yeah. Because it would have just been something they do.
It would just been normal. Well, you're hunting, but everybody does
exactly. When you wash your clothes, do you call yourself a clothes washer?
Pull this thing in front of you. so it doesn't. No, like this way. You got it under your chin.
Do I? I like
it's
it
gonna
under there.
sound,
It's holding
It's gonna
up.
sound weird. That's better. There you go. See, clear.
Yeah, it's like if you wash your clothes.
Yeah,
do you
call
your
clothes washer?
Yeah, no, fuck no.
You're a fucking person.
Everyone washes clothes unless you're a dirty prick. You know, everyone does that.
But because people know that I hunt, like people will find me. Like, if there's a guy like somewhere, and you know, like he wants to meet me somewhere, it's like the first thing that comes up, almost like instantly. We know each other.
Yeah.
Like, dude, you bow hunt?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You bow hunt? Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
bow hunt.
It's
oh,
crazy.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Where do you go? I was like, oh, you know, we go to New Mexico every year. Oh, cool.
None of your fucking business.
Yeah. There's a lot of that too, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, you and John Dudley had that talk about public spots, and you're like, because I agree, it's not your, like, you don't own it. Like,
No.
everyone owns public land.
Yeah.
But I'll take this story back up for John. But to share that spot is not the done thing, because it's like everyone should put their own in a sense.
To go find a spot.
Yeah, to go find
Yeah,
a spot.
yeah.
And even if you're happy to share a spot, because I go to a lot of different spots and social media asks me to tell these spots, and I never do, because that spot could be someone else's paradise that they've fucking spent 10 years to find.
Right.
Then you give that information out to the masses. It's like, so don't fucking ask, you know, that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? It's like even though these places are beautiful and everybody owns them, the last thing you want is what's happening right now in Joshua Tree, right? A bunch of people going there and chopping down trees,
leaving
beer
fucking
cans
trash
down.
everywhere.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
one thing I really like about what you do too. You always make videos of these trash that you pick up. Bring a bag with you, and you're.
Well, I started the thing, so I brought a bunch of gear with me, and I'm fortunate I've got really good sponsors, and they send me a bunch of gear as well, so I could do the trip over here without bringing everything. And I was walking around New Mexico, actually, and I was looking at all the trash sitting around. And I was like, fuck it, I'm going to give away all my equipment for this trip. Virtually all my main hunting gear, backpack, bow, friggin' Yeti cooler, whatever, you know. And for anyone that tags me in an image of them picking up trash, and I'm not going to say the description of it now because it's pretty much ended. I've given the bow away and all my gear. And because these hunters are doing that anyway, but I just thought I'd really drive it home, you know. And thousands and thousands of people tag me and them collecting rubbish out in public lands or wherever. You know, there's people that were posting me, they were picking it up on the beach right here in LA, you know, collecting rubbish. So it was, because it's disheartening when you've got that connection to the wild, you see that, you know, like, fuck, that doesn't belong here. You know those balloons that float away?
Yeah.
Holy, they need to ban them fucking things.
Because they drop somewhere.
Someone walks out, they let them go, they end up somewhere. It's usually on the mountain, you know, the mountain ends up catching them, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't belong there.
I was out on the trail yesterday with my dog and just came across this Bud Light can. And I just stopped and just staring at this can down the ground. I wanted to find the guy who did it and shove it down his fucking throat.
What person does that?
Why would you just leave this Bud Light can?
I always think of that. I'm like, who would do that? Like, it's such a beautiful place and just be like,
just
whatever.
chuck it, leave it behind.
I see it everywhere, like, because a lot of people are like, I want to apologize on behalf of America. I'm like, fuck, that's not America. That's everywhere. That's people everywhere. But there's certain places that people are, there's different people.
Yeah.
New Zealand's one of them. So New Zealand has like hundreds and hundreds of public land cabins.
Yeah.
Like no fee, pretty much nothing. And if there is a fee, it's like $5. And you can hike in or drive to these cabins and you're staying there. And they've got mattresses in them. They've got beds. They've got the firewood's cut for you. It's left there by the hunters or outdoors people before you. And they're in pristine condition.
And there's a guest book too, right?
Yeah, you're signing to the guest book. If that was in Australia, if that was in America, it'd be so fucking vandalised it's not funny.
Yeah.
But New Zealand's got a certain type of people that go into the bush, the mountains, and there's a certain respect that comes with it. And maybe it's from Maori culture or something like that goes with it, where that just doesn't happen. The person that's there before you cleans it out. They sweep it out. They clean it.
Wow.
They leave a bit of tinned food there or whatever. They cut new firewood. They stack it where it can stay dry, you know. Things like that, and it's something that goes without saying with me and my people, how we sort of do. That's how we are, respectful for the land. But there's so many people that aren't.
That's a beautiful thing if you find a community like that everybody agrees to respect that area. Everybody agrees to do that and take care of things. I mean, if you can really come across something like that, like we were talking about in New Zealand, there's just a great feeling of community that comes with that.
Yeah, totally. There seems to be a tight hunting community in America as well, where obviously none of that thing would happen. But there's so many people that go out into the outdoors that they belong there. So I don't want to say they don't belong there, but the truth is, as soon as you litter or something, you don't fucking belong there.
Right.
Yeah, go back to your own
Disrespect
fucking trash house, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's so unfortunate. It's so unfortunate that people do think like that. They think so selfishly. They just throw a water bottle on the ground. They don't care.
Yeah.
No one's going to notice. It's out here in the wilderness.
That's what it is. It's that so self-centered that it's like no one or nothing else matters, you know? Yeah.
Well, there's so much of that. There's so much of that. I mean,
that's what I think's getting worse.
Well, it's people doing a poor job of raising people. You know, they're not paying attention.
Yeah.
You know, they're raising shitty humans.
Yeah. I want to fight it. Like I've constantly been fighting it, and that's why I have the social media and stuff to keep promoting the outdoors and good things in life and things like that. But another part of me is like, and I nearly did it last year. I just like, fuck, I want to go off the grid. Like really off the grid. So solar powered, you know, a couple of 1,000 acres of my own, stuff like that. And just because Kim pretty much only eats game meat now as well. Like that's how we've gone. So we just want to eat game meat. And it's like the next step would be having our own chickens, collecting our own eggs, growing our own vegetables, like living off the land, you know.
Do you want to have like a phone out there?
Fuck no.
So how long would you live out there for?
Forever.
Forever and ever and ever?
Yeah.
How am I going to get in touch with you?
Fucking, I'll have a phone with your number in it only. I just felt like cutting it all out, you know, like fucking cutting bills out, cutting all that shit out, cutting contact out.
Yeah, I get that. Do you still run your company?
To a degree. I got really good people that run it. Unfortunately, my business partner, she's an Indigenous woman in that area. She just passed away a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah, which is pretty sad. But
how long have you known her?
She's my stepmother, so long time. Yeah, so it's my dad's partner, and so the Indigenous then like they don't really live to a long age. They're sort of they're unhealthy in a sense because they're so not used to our processed, you know, refined foods and things like that. And because, you know, how old's Australia? It's only a couple of 100 years old.
Right.
And so, you know, to get to 60, it seems like it's a friggin' miracle for them. So I'm not sure how old she was, but she wasn't very old. Yeah, and so unfortunately she passed away. She was on a dialysis machine and her heart was really struggling and ended up giving out. But sorry, where was I going?
No, I get it. Look, you know, you were just talking about being off the grid and whether or not you still run your company.
Oh yeah, so I've got really good people that run the business for me, and yeah, everything's done by emails and phone calls, and I hardly do any of that anymore. Like I might hear from them once a month if need be, but I'd probably look at selling the business, especially after this has happened.
After she's died.
Yeah. Probably look at selling the business, but it just depends. Her son's going to take over her partnership, you know, the joint venture with her and stuff like that, which would be really good for him and still, you know, allow an income into the family and things like that. So we'll just see where it goes. But yeah, I was really thinking about going off the grid and just like I've always wanted to be like that. I love that lifestyle. Time seems to go a lot slower when you're out in the woods.
Yeah.
For starters, you're doing exactly what you want to do, you know.
I like being in contact with the world, though. I like both.
Yeah.
It's like I do appreciate off the grid times, but for me, I like them as like vacations.
Yeah.
But I like being in contact. I want to know what's happening with the world. I like being aware of cultural change. It's also because of what I do for a living as a comedian.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I don't care for it. Like, we don't watch the news at home. We don't tune into anything like that. We just sort of live our life, and it's like what affects us, unless it's affecting the greater community in a sense for the worse, you know, because the country's run by fucking clowns. That's how I feel.
Your country as well?
Oh, yeah. Fuck, yeah.
What's worse,
these
America
fucks are too busy trying to look good in Parliament and argue with each other to get anything actually done, you know?
Like, what are the big issues in Australia?
I don't know, because I don't tune into it anymore.
Well, you guys have crazy immigration laws. Like, you don't let anybody go over there.
Yeah.
Like, it's like people who think that the United States is rough with this whole wall thing.
Oh, yeah.
Australia takes that to a whole new level. They ship people to an island.
Yeah.
Right?
Christmas Island. It's a fucking nice island, though.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, think about what you guys are.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys were a place that the British shipped all their prisoners to
yeah,
a way better place.
Yeah, exactly. I did all the security fencing around some of the detention centres. So you're pretty much, you're on that island, you know, and then you get shipped to like the hottest, most fucking arid part of Australia, like it's death. And I did the fencing around there. And then I believe they're there for so long, and then they can, you know, they either get shipped back home or they can go out to the broader community in Australia, which they get treated very well, obviously.
So is it just an assessment place? Like, were they trying to find out if you're a criminal or you're violent?
Yeah, I think that's the important thing. You know, that's why you can't just have open borders. You know, some terrorist comes in.
Right.
Some guy that thinks fucking rape's fine. Some guy that thinks, you know, crazy shit's fine. You know, assess those people and fucking send them off. Or
yeah, but if you did that in the most arid part of America, people would be so angry because people would start dying.
Well, people are angry in Australia as well. And I think there has been deaths and stuff like that. What are you supposed to do? It's a very... it's a hard situation.
Yeah.
It's not something that's just like, no, just let them through. No, fuck no. And it's not like just don't let them through.
Right.
You know, it's that middle ground again, you know. Let's assess them. Let's work it out. Because I always think, what if I was in their shoes? You know, I got Kim and the kids or whatever, and now we're in a country that's war fucking stricken. I'd be trying to get the fuck out of there too.
Yeah.
No matter what it took.
Yeah.
You know? Well, not no matter what it took, but...
no, of course. Yeah. I mean, I always say that about people that are talking about people sneaking over this country. I mean, like, this country is made out of immigrants.
Yeah.
It's an immigrant country.
Yeah, and what do you expect when you got something fucking good?
The whole fucking country's immigrants.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like people in LA saying they don't want anybody moving to LA.
Yeah.
Like, bitch, this is all LA is.
Where are you from? Well, look at Australia. Like, if you're fucking white, you're an import.
Right. And by the way, if you are one of the original people that came here, I mean, one of the original European settlers, you're probably a fucking slave owner.
Yeah.
Your grandparents were slave owners. Like, if you didn't come over here as a recent immigrant, like I'm third generation, my grandparents came over here from Europe. If they didn't, then if they were here for 10, 15 generations, they're probably fucking slave owners.
Yeah, exactly.
So stop.
I never feel a real good connect with anywhere I go, including my home, Australia, because I'm not Indigenous. You know, it's like weird. And so I've always looked at, because, you know, I don't worry about fucking flags or borders or anything like that. I've just always looked at the world as the world's home.
Well, especially because you spend so much time with the Indigenous people in Australia because of work. And
that, you know, like, and no disrespect to any flag. I love the flag and I love what they stand for, but it's only someone's design. A border's only something that someone's put on the map. Yeah. You know, it's like a real weird thing like that.
It is a weird thing, but also you want to protect people from people that come from a place
100%.
It's
unless the whole world was the same, unless the whole world was on the same level, you know, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, this is illegal, this is fine. Unless the whole world was like that, then borders would be easy to cross.
Well, that's essentially what America is. Yeah. We've been talking about this a lot, that America is essentially like Europe, but everybody speaks the same language, but you can go to any country. Like New Mexico is fucking way different than Miami. Yeah. Right? Miami is way different than LA. LA is way different than Seattle. Yeah. Those are all almost like completely different places. Totally. But they're all, you could go to them. I mean, ideally, that's where it would be. It would be you could travel to anywhere where the opportunity was, where you thought you could get a good job and you want to better yourself and your family, you'd have an opportunity.
Yeah. The fact that currency and life values are different, for starters, is, you know, why that can't happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it'd be nice.
Well,
it'd be nice.
It would be nice if one day the whole world rises up. And, you know, when you look at the Western world, whether it's Europe or the United States and places where things are going really well, or Asia, it would be nice if the whole planet was like that.
Yeah.
If there was no third world, if everything was fantastic, if everything was just basically just like we're talking about here. Hey, you can live in Phoenix, or you can live in Billings, Montana, or you could live in Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Go wherever the fuck you want. That's what we have here. We have a really unique thing in this country.
That's why people want to come here.
Yeah.
It's fucking good.
It's pretty dope.
I hear a lot of, because you always hear the negative things, and I hear a lot of people ragging on America and their own country and stuff like that. You know, well, this fucking America is brilliant. Australia is brilliant. These countries are also fucking lucky to be here.
Yeah.
You know, because you look at other parts of the world and you're like, fuck.
Yeah.
They can't feed their baby.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I think Africa, like I always threaten my kids, and it's not a threat because they love it, but I always say I'm fucking taking you to Africa because however long ago when I went to Africa, like I was watching little babies in a village crawl around in like 3-4 inches of dust. You know, every second person you met had fucking war scars on their face, you know, in Mozambique and Zimbabwe. And you're driving down, there's a roadblock, there's dudes with fucking AK-47s that are duct taped together. There's a guy on the side of the road with a fucking bazooka, a rocket launcher. You don't know if they're friend or foe, you know, and this is just not normal everyday life going for Africa. There's a tourist bus on the side of the road, it's fucking burnt out, and there's just bullet holes sprayed through a line of the windows, you know, and shit like that. And it's like, fuck, this isn't Australia. This isn't America. Like, this is different. And sometimes, and my kids, they're grateful, but they're on a different tune than me, you know, and I'm just like, fuck, they need a trip to Africa and they can see. Not that I'm trying to expose someone else's life so my kids realize, like, but just so they can feel, you know, like, you got a good life. You, like, appreciate it. Like, it can be a lot harder.
Yeah, it's hard to appreciate, right? It's like we were talking about going into the bush. If you go into the bush for 7 days, then you come out, you appreciate hot water. You appreciate sunshine if you've been out in the rain. But it's hard for people to appreciate it without actually experiencing it. Because you can only conceptualize it so much in your head. Unless you're actually there,
it doesn't do it.
No, it just doesn't. You don't.
And that's virtually, reality's never going to touch on that either, you know.
No, it's going to turn us into some weird spongy looking fucking soft jelly bag.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
I'm worried. I'm really worried about the future. But I guess that's just what happens. I mean, because it seems like, look.
Well, my old nan and pa would have been saying the same thing about our generation now.
Well, we are soft as fuck in comparison to chimps, right? Our ancient ancestors were something like chimps. They're probably looking at us now. They'd be like, look at these pussies with their shoes. They need houses. You can't even sleep in a tree, you fucking dummies. You know what I mean? Like
totally.
But we don't want to live like that either. Yeah. You know, maybe the Matrix would be so beautiful. We're like, there's Adam Greentree running around with a fucking gun that doesn't work, sticking it in the face of a grizzly bear.
That's fucking funny. If I'm hunting and it's raining, what gets me out there and continues me to hunt in the rain is I'm like, it's fucking water. Yeah. Like, I have a shower every night when I'm at home. I get to dry off afterwards.
Yeah.
But I'm like, have you ever seen animals in the rain? Like, an animal will be like feeding and it's sunshine. Just feeding, and then it will start pissing down raining. It just keeps feeding.
Yeah.
It doesn't even fucking like what? It doesn't look up. It's just fucking life, you know?
That's life.
And I always think I'm just an animal. Like, what's the difference? I'll get hypothermia and die.
Well, you have Gore-Tex.
But, okay, exactly.
You get some Under Armour Gore-Tex clothes on.
I do.
You're fine.
And then it's like, but even if you don't, it's like, fuck, whatever. You're just wet. It's just water.
Well, the technology today, like what they figured out for outdoor gear is so good. You wear, like merino wool, which even when it gets wet, keeps your body warmth. And there's the water protection of this gear is so good. There's so many different companies that make outstanding stuff now. Yeah. You can be fine in the rain now.
Exactly, yeah. And, I just think we just keep getting so removed. Like, as soon as it rains, like, everyone runs to the car or runs to shelter.
Here, they don't even know how to drive.
Yeah,
they fucking panic.
Dude. Oh, my God.
A little bit of drizzle, everybody's like, ah! Yeah. And then accidents everywhere. People don't know. They don't realize it gets slippery, you dumb fucks.
Yeah, change your driving. Fucking LA has been...
It's so goofy.
It's nearly upsetting because I'm like, people have to do this every day to go to work.
Oh.
Like, traffic's some people's lives.
Oh,
and I'm like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, but people... they're fucking caught up in the whole system.
If you drive out to like you go up the 5 and head towards like Palmdale or Bakersfield or any place out there, and you see traffic at like 6 o'clock in the morning, bumper to bumper.
Just ridiculous.
Just all people making it to LA. So they drive an hour all the way out to Palmdale, hour 15, hour 20, because the rent is cheaper. And then they make their way, or home
That's
prices
their
are
life.
cheaper. Their life every day is 3 hours plus of driving in the car. Orange County, the people that live in Orange County, that place is fucking dense.
Crazy.
It's beautiful out there. It's great place to live. But god damn, if you have to go anywhere, like if you have to drive to Hollywood every day, good fucking luck keeping your sanity. There's probably in the car right now listening to us. Going, fuck!
Sorry, poor
What is
you.
this? I-5 reopens in the Grapevine after... What is this, snow?
This last month when it first snowed. Like, this is the pass on the I-5 up near where you're saying, like Palmdale area.
It was snowing in Palmdale?
It just shut everything down. Yeah.
Oh, look at the amount of people.
They got stuck.
That's the thing. If someone's got a goal and they're aiming towards that goal and they're doing a job to get that goal, then fucking good on them. But other than that, if you're doing this for a fucking dead-end job...
Vehicles just sitting on the highway covered in snow. Yeah, that's where you want a 4-wheel drive truck with some good fucking knobby tires.
Fuck no, that's when you want to just ring up and say, I'm not coming.
Yeah, that too.
Damn.
Yeah, not good.
I feel so sorry for anyone that's caught up with that.
It's so rare that it snows out there too. No one knows what the fuck to do when it snows. I grew up in Boston, and in the snow, I had to drive every day in the snow because I delivered newspapers. That was my job from time I was like 17 till I was 22-ish, somewhere around there. Maybe the last time I stopped, 22, 23. Mm-hmm. I got up every fucking morning. So it taught me two things. One, it taught me discipline because I had to be up at 5 o'clock in the morning no matter what, even earlier on Sunday because it was the big, thick Sunday papers. You had to make multiple trips. I even had a van. I bought a cargo van just to deliver newspapers in, some shitty cargo van. I forgot to change the oil. Engine seized on me. I brought it to the guy, and I go, what's wrong with it? He's like, you didn't have any oil in it. I'm like, fuck. Not good with cars. But I drove in the snow every day, man.
Really?
So if I'm in the snow today, I'm like, and I feel my ass end kick out. I'm like, whoa, hey, I know what to do here.
Yeah.
I don't panic. I don't slam on the brakes. Like, I drove a lot in snow.
Did you remember having like a set goal at that point, doing that job?
No, I just wanted to not work.
Yeah.
And nobody could tell me what to do when I was in my car. Because the thing about it is I had a job. This was my task. I had hundreds of houses that I delivered newspapers to. But I didn't have anybody with me while I was doing it. So while I was doing it, nobody was telling me what to do. No one was yelling at me.
Nice.
I'd listen to the radio, listen to talk radio, and just listen to music, think about jokes and shit, and just throw newspapers out the window. Yeah. It was nice.
Yeah, it is.
It was nice to not have someone it was better for me. I would way rather work 7 days a week, and it was only a few hours a day. So even though it was every single day, it was only like 3 hours a day. I was done by 8, and I'd go back to sleep.
Now you got the biggest fucking podcast.
Crazy.
It's crazy. I've been self-employed since I was 21.
Really?
Yeah. And I had a big media company reach out to me not so long ago. And the biggest thing that turned me off, because the pricing and everything was right, was I'm like, I fucking can't take orders.
What would they want you to do?
I can take orders.
Podcast types?
Yeah, pretty much own a lot of my content. And unfortunately, a part of that would have been changing some of the companies that I'm with, and like I'm friends with the companies I'm with those companies because they're what I want to use.
You mean like hunting companies?
Yeah. And but the thought of having to be on someone else's timeline then, like I was like, I fucking don't want to do that. I can't. Like right now I'm just doing me, and whatever happens. And it's like your situation,
Yeah, if I even had a guy that I had to check in with once a month and say, so everything looks good. We got an upward trend here. I'd be like, ugh. That fucking phone call would be haunting me.
Yeah. And I'm such a spur of the moment guy. You know, like this hunt's come up, I'm going there.
Right.
I want to do this with the kids or Kim and the family, I'm going and doing it. I really like that. So relaxing, dude, to be like that. And that's why I built the business that I've got to where it is as well, where I don't have to be at work continually.
How often are you putting out your podcast?
Right now, I've put a hold on it since this trip because it's just been so. Even though this trip would have been epic to do it on, I just haven't done it because everything's like so fast forward. It's insane.
Plus, you have the kids with you. That's hours out of the day that you just don't have.
Exactly. Yeah. But as soon as I get back home, which is like middle of February after the Western Expo, then I'm going to start pumping it again. I love doing it.
The Expo in Salt Lake.
Yeah. I love doing it.
When is that in Salt Lake?
I think it's like 15th, 16th, 17th of February, maybe.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on a second there. 15th, 17th.
You should get along.
I've been there before. Oh,
February 14th.
February 14th to the 17th. Western Expo in Salt Lake City, Utah.
Dad is free. But Daddy's not free on the 14th. That's Valentine's Day. You got to pick your battles, son.
You do. You got to pick your battles. Hell yeah.
You got to pick your battles.
Yeah.
You got to know what to do. Like, I make sure that I take plenty of family vacations around hunting trips.
Yeah, totally.
So
well, you just went over to the Big Island, didn't you?
No, we went to Maui.
Oh, did you? Awesome.
Yeah, we did that for New Year's.
Yeah.
I decided to stop working on New Year's.
Yeah.
Because right now, I can't really work anyway, like legitimately for a couple months, because I don't have enough material, because I just did a Netflix special, and I want to make sure I don't want anybody coming to see me and I'm half-assed.
Oh, yeah,
you know. So if I'm doing sets around LA, like right now, I could rock it for 20 minutes or a half hour. That's easy. I mean, that's not easy, but it's doable.
Yeah.
It's legit. I don't feel like I'm a fraud. Like if I do a half-hour show, that's a real half-hour show. But it's not a real hour show. There's a big deal. Because an hour show, like in a theater or an arena, I really need an hour and 20. Because I know you got to make sure everything's good. It's just, there's a giant responsibility. You don't want to leave anybody. People get babysitters and they take time out of their day. I got to be prepared, so I work hard at it. So I was thinking about New Year's, and when it came, they were trying to set up New Year's gigs for me, and I'm like, not only am I not ready, I don't think I want to do it because it seems like such a big event.
Totally.
Like New Year's is like, it's New Year's! We're out! Well, I can't believe it! We're celebrating!
Yeah.
It's like Vegas on crack.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the whole thing is just ramped up so far past normal.
It's so weird.
Like a show.
So we were out in the desert. It was just me, Kim, and the kids on New Year's. And to everything else just fucking turns like normal. But to the human race, it's like, because it's written on a calendar, it's like this big deal, you know?
Yeah.
And it is cool, but fuck, New Year's seems like such a good time just to chill for me.
Yeah, it was a good time to chill. Yeah, we went to we were staying at a resort in Maui, and it was beautiful, and the food was great, and the beach was great.
Yeah.
Just chill.
Fucking awesome.
Just chill.
Yeah.
I need more of that in my life. I need more chill time. Just everything. I'm just doing so many different things. Like, I have to balance it out with nothing sometimes.
Yeah. Because when I'm go, sometimes I'm just like, fuck, I just want to sit on the couch. And I feel lazy as fuck when I do it because I'm so used to going. But that sitting on the couch and watching a movie and just chilling is like...
You recharge.
Holy shit, dude.
Yeah, you recharge.
Yeah, it totally is. And it makes you hungry to go again.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I need that.
I need that it took me a while to figure that out with stand-up too. So like sometimes I need to take little breaks just to recharge my imagination, recharge my enthusiasm for it. There's a balance in life. Like, you can't work out 5 hours a day every day. You break your body down.
Yeah, totally.
You need breaks. And I think you need breaks with your imagination. You need breaks with enthusiasm, with everything.
Yeah.
You know?
Let the mind reset.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you doing while you're in LA? Like, how long are you going to be here for?
We did Disney with the kids and just chilled out. We're leaving tomorrow, heading back to Utah, Salt Lake City.
What are you going to do up there?
Pretty much getting organized to go back home. So I'm going to drop I've got that Winnebago trailer. I'm going to drop off there and unpack, declutter. Yeah, I'm going to go visit Hoyt, yeah. I'm going to send out a bunch of this shit that I said I'd give away and stuff like that. Then we're going back to Utah. Utah's been our base pretty much. Some friends are up Utah. Going to go back to Utah and pack up a bunch of stuff. And then I've got a bison hunt that I'm going to do. That's the last hunt while I'm in America. And then down to the Western Expo, we've got we're screening one of the movies that I did there. I did a movie over in New Zealand, and the boys from Bow Hunt Down Under in Australia filmed it for me, and they did a fucking awesome job.
Well, the one you guys did with Cam, the Under Armour one was fantastic. That was really good.
Yeah, they were good.
They did a great job with that.
They're funner to do than what the fucking movie is, because, you know, they want to cut it down to 20 minutes. They made that one pretty long, where it was 20-something minutes. But because me and Cam had like 2 weeks together, fucking running around going wild. It was awesome. And there's so much that they can't show in that 20 minutes. Of
course.
You know, and like some really cool shit.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping to get Cam out again this year. I've got those 2 buffalo hunts lined up. And you need to come out too, which would be fucking awesome.
You're out of your fucking mind if you think I'm coming
I tell you what I was going to do. I had it all fucking planned out.
What are you going to do?
Build
a city out
there? This whole trip I've been... No. What I've been doing in America. I've been collecting fucking spiders and snakes and shit like that. And I was going to let them all fucking go in the studio, dude. I was going to let them all go in the studio. I'm like, fuck, he'll never have me on again if I do that. But I was going to bring one in here with me.
To just show me?
Just fucking... No, I was just going to let it out halfway through the episode and see if you could carry on. I had it all fucking lined up, and then I got changed because I had to go to Arizona. I didn't go back to Idaho where all the fucking creepies are. Yeah, I had to let them all go.
Did you go to Idaho at all this trip?
Heaps. So,
Idaho is fucking amazing. Idaho might be like the undiscovered gem, like the unrecognized gem in this country.
There's fucking no one there, dude.
There's no one there.
There's no one there.
But Boise is fantastic.
Yeah.
I fucking love that city.
Yeah.
I had a great time there, man. It's beautiful. And the mountains out there are so gorgeous.
Yeah, it is. It's a pretty place. So our friends are based there. So every time we fly in, every year when we fly in, I usually fly into Idaho first, right up high near Spokane, like near Washington. Mm-hmm. And then we end up driving from there to southern Colorado, New Mexico, back to southern Colorado because Kim had a pronghorn tag still and she ended up tagging a pronghorn. Then... This is how much shit I've fucking done on this trip. I had to get Kim to fucking write it down because I'm like, where have we been? It's been hectic. And I think I've been to Idaho like 4 or 5 times in this trip, like back and forth.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you ever go to Coeur d'Alene?
Yep.
I haven't
That's
been
where
yet.
my friends are near Coeur d'Alene. It's beautiful.
I heard the water
so nice.
is so clear that you can see like 100 feet down to the bottom.
It's a fucking nice spot. I got to bring up this message and read it out. It's been crazy. Yeah, so we flew into Idaho, then we went to southern Colorado, then we went to New Mexico, back to southern Colorado, back up to Idaho, and then I end up we end up driving to eastern Oregon to hunt bull elk. Then I end up flying out to Arizona to hunt elk as well on the Navajo reservation, which was really cool. Then I flew to BC, hunted moose. Then I flew back. Then we went to Kentucky. I drove all the way to Kentucky with the kids, which took like 4 or 5 days. That was fucking insane. We took our time. We were sort of checking it out. You know where there's nothing?
Where?
Where there's absolutely nothing?
What?
Nebraska, dude. Holy fuck. We drove for hours and hours through Nebraska and like seen nothing but like cornfields or something like that. Sorry anyone from Nebraska, but Nebraska was boring as
People
fuck.
from Nebraska right now.
Oh my gosh, they're tuning
Tell
out.
me about it.
I'm sure there's some pretty places there.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think they know about it.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Was it? Oh, Kansas was Dorothy, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah. Then we went to Texas. We drove down to Texas.
How long you guys been here?
4+ months.
Your kids are holding up remarkably well.
Oh, they're awesome.
They look like they're having a good old time.
Yeah, they are, yeah. At least in front of you. There's been some good arguments on the way, but they're pretty good. I'm like, fuck, they're like either locked in a trailer or locked in the car or we're in like an Airbnb or something like that and they're all gathered together and it's not until you're around other people's kids that you realize how good your own kids are. Like that's because I'm always like, they're naughty, you know, and then you're around other kids and you're like, fuck, our kids are saints,
What
you
are
know.
you, Santa Claus?
Yeah,
They're naughty.
exactly. They're naughty. But yeah, then we went from Texas to Utah, hung out at Utah for a while. Then I drove back to Colorado, come back to Utah again.
Well, what's ironic is that you as an Australian and your family as Australians are getting to see more of America than most Americans ever do.
That's what I'm like, fucking get out there and do it.
Get out there and do it.
Get out there and do it.
It's a beautiful place we live in.
Yeah. I think some people don't have the means to.
Yeah.
You know, like, and that's why people are driving through this fuck traffic every day to try and make the means to do that, you know.
Yep. Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it's a grind out there, fuckers.
Yeah.
It's a grind.
yeah, the traffic does my fucking head in. Concrete does my head in. Mass people do my head in. Like, I'm walking around Disney like, fuck.
Yeah, but isn't it fun to do, like, every now and again?
It
Like,
is,
I
yeah.
like to go to New York City every now and again.
Yeah.
Just go, Jesus, all these fucking people.
Yeah.
Have you been? Have you been to New York
Yeah,
City?
I have, yeah. Yeah,
That's,
it's crazy.
That's the trippiest trip in all of this fucking wild-ass
Yeah.
country.
I think, look, the reason why hunters get so much flack from a lot of people is because they are stuck in that. They don't know the other end of things.
Yeah.
You know, they don't know the wilderness side of things because they're fucking jammed in there. I always think, like, that's why I love promoting it as well so much. Like, people don't even know about this. They don't even know it exists. They don't even know this is something you can do. They don't know the rewards from it.
Also, they feel morally detached from the food that they're eating. Like, they don't feel like an obligation to their food. They don't feel like they don't. I mean, it's just a steak.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
connection, and
Yeah.
because of that, they don't feel like they did anything wrong.
No, that's right.
Whereas, you know, if you shoot a fawn, and you know, and you're like, oh, you shot a baby.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, like, oh. Like,
Yeah.
what do you think your veal is, stupid?
Yeah,
What do you think
fucking
lamb
meat.
is?
It had 4
what
legs
do you
and
think?
was running
Did you order the
around.
rack of lamb?
Yeah.
you ordered
Yeah,
a baby.
exactly.
That's
Yeah.
a baby.
Yeah.
Lamb is a baby sheep, you
Yeah.
fuck. But most people don't
It's
know
weird.
that.
I don't hate on it because I understand it. Like, that the population of the world demands that.
Yes.
But if someone hates on me for it, then you've got to point it out. I'm still not hating on it.
Yeah.
I'm just pointing it out. Oi,
Yeah.
you're doing the same thing, but someone else is doing it for you.
Yeah, it's out of ignorance for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. And even if you're a vegan or a vegetarian, you know, it still kills animals. Like, have a look at the cleared land. To be a vegan, they need the clear land. You know, so it's like that's that whole middle ground again.
Yeah, unless
Like,
you are
if
running an
everyone
organic
went-
farm
Yeah.
yourself.
If everyone went vegan, we'd fucking have to clear mass amounts of land, kill mass amounts of animals and everything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Well, there'd
And
be
if
that.
everyone went hunters, then fucking we'd slaughter the fuck out of so much wildlife, it's not funny.
Well, on top of that, you wouldn't be able to just let those animals loose. Like
No,
this
that's
idea that
right.
you'd let all the cows loose. You'd have
Yeah, yeah.
bulls slamming into fucking cars on the street.
Yeah.
Like, you
and
can't
just devastating,
Yeah.
like, you know, ground that can't be trampled on and
Exactly.
shit like that.
Yeah.
But it's that middle ground. Yeah, some vegans and vegetarians are good. You know, some hunters and that are good. And then there's that middle ground, which is all the normal cunts, you know, that just understand, like, I've got to eat meat. It's not actually damaging. You know, I can eat some vegetables. That's not damaging. Like, it's just everything in its place.
Yeah.
You know, that's what we
I
need to
think
see.
your perspective is very healthy, that it's good to have these extreme animal rights activists because it balances everything out. We need balance in
Yeah,
this
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Just don't fucking mouth off at me about it.
Don't mouth
That's
off, you
it.
cunt.
That's all it is, you cunt.
Why does cunt sound so much better with an Australian accent?
Because
It really
it's so
does.
normal in Australia.
Yeah. it's
That's what
funny.
it is.
Even when your wife
Yeah.
says it, it's just like it's normal.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
It's normal.
So our friend Sam Soholt, which he put up a post and it was about some politician.
shirt right here.
Yeah, there you go. Beautiful.
I was wearing his shirt earlier
He
today.
makes some awesome shirts.
Yeah. I was sweating in it, otherwise I'd wear it here.
Public landowner. That's it, baby.
Shout out to Sam,
Hell yeah.
my boy.
So he put this post up and it's about this politician that, you know, he goes, you know, it's a pretty decent fucking writing that he's done up about, you know, how the guy's not doing his job and stuff like that, and they're going to take this public land away from us or close it. And I'm in the comments, I'm like, so basically what you're saying is he's a cunt. and like, we can get there a lot quicker. This dude's a cunt. He's not doing his job. And fuck, some people took offense to it. You know, I'm like, but Sam explained to him, he's like, he's Australian, it's very normal.
It's a prison colony.
But out here, it's like, you're Satan.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's like saying, I'm not even going to say it.
I
Oh,
know.
fuck it. Yeah.
It's a bad word.
It's a bad word.
Yeah, it does,
you
it's
know.
not like over there. It's like a gentle. It's
Yeah.
like fucker. Hey,
Yeah,
fucker.
yeah, totally.
What up,
Yeah,
fucker?
yeah,
like
yeah.
if Jamie walked in here, I go, hey, fucker.
Yeah.
And if he said that to me, I'd be like, hey, what's
Yeah.
up? It would be
there-
normal.
There's 4 things you can't do. You can't say anything bad about whitetail hunting. Can't say anything bad about fucking Jesus. You can't say the word cunt. And I can't remember what the 4th one was. It might have been something about the American flag. Like,
Yeah.
fucking don't go there.
Leave the flag alone,
Yeah,
sir.
Don't go there.
Leave the flag
That fucking
alone.
flag is beautiful.
That motherfucker right there,
Yeah.
son.
Yeah.
All right, dude. We just did 3 hours again.
Wow.
Just flew by.
Wow. It's because of this
Always
fucking
does, brother.
crazy coffee.
It's coffee. There's room. This room's a goddamn time warp.
Fuck, I wanted Kanye to be in here at the same time so we can gang up on him and talk him into bow hunting.
We got this little Kanye.
We got
little Kanye right here. Killer Mike's coming on the podcast soon. He said that he wants to go elk hunting with me, but his wife won't let him hunt with white people. So I told her that I'm 1.6% African. So we'll see what we can do.
Thanks for having me on the show for the
pleasure,
third
brother.
time, dude.
It's always a good time to see you, my friend. And we got to schedule another Lanai trip.
Hell yeah.
Let's make it happen.
Or Northern Territory, Australia.
Or Lanai. Stay at the Four Seasons. Love you, buddy.
That was cool. It always is.